podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
You know the saying, stay hungry, stay humble.
BoxingVoice.com.
I'm humble in defeat, and I'm going to remain humble in victory. This is it, right?
TMZ Productions.
I just wanted to put on a great boxing masterclass and also show the sweet science of this lovely sport. Man, the first time was so nice, I had to do it twice.
I'm prepared to the best of my capability, and I pray that I get the win. Look at it, I love Mike Tyson, how he came into the game on some different kind of vibe. You know what I mean? It takes a crazy man to want to fight, you know what I mean, day in, day out. The hardcore sport, as you said, no silk shoes.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing boys.
Good morning, TBV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another morning edition with the Boxing Voice Radio. It is Thursday morning. Thank God to be up. We got a jam-packed show for you. One fantastic interview in the welterweight division. We're going to be having Blair, the Flair Cobbs on the show, waking up early for us all the way from the West Coast. So we'll be having him on at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. East Coast. And we will be discussing today an exclusive interview with TMZ Sports and Dana White, where Dana White told TMZ that he is securing a private island for his UFC fights. And there's going to be fights every week. He says his UFC 2-something majig. I don't know. I'm sure Mario knows the number and a couple of you other little moonlighters, you little cheaters, cheating on boxing with MMK. But, yeah, you know, I'm sure you guys know who's going to be on this pay-per-view. But the question I'm asking is, should boxing follow suit? Should boxing copy? Should Al, Bob, Eddie get together? I know that world is a dreamland about getting together, but I mean, should boxing get an island? Essentially, should they continue to put on fights? I mean, obviously for the UFC, it makes financial sense to acquire a private island and fly international fighters into that island to have this fight. And these fights, I mean, this is very interesting. And look, I'm a boxing fan. I want my boxing. So if the UFC is going to pull this trick out of the hat, we need to follow suit. This is what we're discussing. If you like the topic of discussion, you want to voice your own opinion on this subject, you already know what you got to do. 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. Don't forget, if you are a Patreon family member on that $15 level for the morning show, every single show, everything that we drop, hit us up on Skype by adding Nestor Gibbs. Let me go on out to Corpus Christi to get this thing started.
It's me, Mario.
What is up? What is up? Yeah, man. They had talked about this it's about a couple days ago now. It's UFC 249, which actually had a really great main event that's been canceled 4 times now, I think. So, but obviously we're not going to talk about that, I'm sure. But this is like a really weird idea that sounds more like a gimmick than anything else. Like how this would work logistically is what I'm wondering, because like, you know, can it really be paid for? Can it really be secured financially without a gate? You know, and then for it to still be pay-per-view, because that's the other thing about this. UFC 249 is still pay-per-view as far as I know. And but yeah, you know, getting to an island type of situation, I mean, it sounds kind of cool, I guess. Like if y'all ever remember the movie Bloodsport, which was a super, super dope movie with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Essentially he goes to, oh man, I think it was like Thailand. I can't even remember. And then fights in a Kumite, all out, no holds bar type fighting. And so like the UFC to put themselves in a situation where it's almost kind of like following that kind of logistics and lines is, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird for a sport that has tried so hard to get legitimacy across the board. This seems like a gimmick to me. It really does. I just don't see how it could really work. And on top of that, an island isn't going to save anybody. It's not about the place. This is about coming together. Okay, fine, we take it to the island, but where did everybody else come from? Like, where was everybody else before they got to that island? Is everybody being tested? Is everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, and I don't know, man. This is crazy. It's unprecedented times, but I do understand what you're saying as far as, boxing and wanting to follow suit. And this is kind of goes back to the question from yesterday we were talking about, or a couple days ago. Is who's going to be the first to jump? Who's going to be the first to try to make this thing work in these times? I don't know. I guess we're finding.
Let me be the optimistic one here. Let me I don't know. Let me shed some optimism on the subject, right? I feel like, why not just test the fighters before they get in? I mean, look, there's money to be made, so there's money that has to be spent. Somehow, if the UFC, or boxing rather, can get their own test the same way that NBA did, the ones that are negative, they're on the roster. They're on an active roster. You know what I mean? Look, the airlines are working, so those flight attendants have to be clean. The pilots have to be tested negative, because I seen Marlon So Icy Sims take a flight not too long ago, and he was, explaining how they made him sit 6 rows apart, and the plane was pretty empty, which it made no economical sense for me to have 12 people on the jet. And, I don't know, but look, they're doing it. So if people are cleared to fly, you could be cleared to go to a private island where everyone else is clean. Now, look, there's a lot of optimism there, but the thing is, he told TMZ that he's very close to securing the island, and he should know either yesterday or today. So this is a thing, and he's not folding his April date like everyone else. He still hasn't given the location. He just said the only place you could watch it is ESPN. So, look, people are working, and let's not forget that the WWE just did WrestleMania in separate locations. Like, no one is just going to sit around and let these times ruin their business. Not everyone, anyway. There's hustlers, and hustlers are going to hustle and find the way to get it done.
Yo, listen, there is, I think, a distinct difference, though, with boxing. Because it's like with UFC, you can say, hey, the UFC is on. And in a casual's mind, they're like, oh, that means that the best MMA fighters in the world are about to fight. You know what I mean? Like, and then you could say, like, in baseball, NBA, across the board, everybody recognizes them as the number one leagues in their respective sports. With wrestling, it's the same thing. WWE head honcho, right? With boxing, it's just so broken up. It's just so not controlled in a way that I couldn't imagine anybody coming together or even putting this type of thing on without some serious upfront cash. And, we got to remember that this is Dana White doing this, who has a deal with ESPN. ESPN, all I'm expected to do, I'm sure, is, air this. Like, I don't even think they use their production teams. I think UFC still uses their own product. I can't, man, I don't remember how that deal worked. But, but the logistical nightmares, like, okay, so Ness, he's saying right now that the infrastructure is being built on this island for these fights. That's like toilets. That's like, I guess like food. Like, I'm not really sure what infrastructure would go into
but just
putting on an
remember,
MMA promotion. So that's crazy.
Remember, I'm not cutting you off, just adding some context. AJ and them did it. That was a temporary arena in Rada. They built a temporary arena. I'm sure they had temporary, restrooms and facilities. I mean, that's the way it goes, man. When there's money to be made, people are going to make it.
That's a great point. But in that case, they also had, temporary fans, or I guess permanent fans would be the case. They had fans that were able to show up and provide that money that goes into everything that, like Saudi Arabia, those types of fights, because wrestling does that too. They go to Saudi Arabia, they put on these huge shows. So these huge shows are indicative of fans showing up. And so in this private island world that Dana White's gonna take us to, like, what I don't know. I don't know. How do you pay for it?
But
like,
don't you think that content is worth more right now?
For sure.
All
Definitely,
right.
Absolutely.
So you don't know what type of financial
deal.
You don't know what type of financial deal he struck. Is no risk. If you have a proposal, and you come to ESPN and you're like, look, we're gonna get a private island. We're gonna set up the infrastructure so that the people that are working there will have the facilities and amenities needed to be treated humane. Okay, but we're also gonna take the necessary precautions to make sure that even though you're attached to this, there won't be no repercussions because everybody's gonna get tested before and after the event. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they get investors that's like, well, wait a minute. Right now, there's nothing on TV. Listen, right now, television is king. How many Americans are in their house right now, bro? All we do is eat, watch TV, sleep, wake up to eat, and watch TV again. And it's only been like 2 weeks, bro. It's getting serious right now. Listen, content is king. Why do you think Netflix has all these international films and they just fucking put captions or voiceovers? Because they know people want to consume. We want to consume. So I think, look, is it far-fetched? Absolutely. Is it going to be probably difficult? Yeah, but everything that's the first time is always difficult. People laughed and clowned PBC. People laughed and clowned Dazn. Like, that's what happens. We didn't believe in Dazn, and I say we knowing good damn and well. I told you every single day it came out that I believed and I wished that it could take over boxing. Just like I wish the PBC could take over and we could have one entity like the UFC so that everyone can fight the best and each other. But I'm always rooting for whoever comes into the sport. That's why you see me get these managers and promoters on, because I'm always rooting for them. I'm always rooting for them to make the sport better. So listen, if we could copy Dana White, get our own private island, set up a couple of fights. The issue is the UFC pays their fighters a lot less than boxing. So now you're talking private islands. You're talking first-class flights for these fighters. You're talking testing for coronavirus, training camps, sparring partners. It's a lot in that fine print. And then the fighter gets a bigger purse.
The sense of building infrastructure is a lot. You know what I mean?
Come again?
Even like the idea of building infrastructure, like that's a lot. That doesn't always happen to a promotion, and I can't really see this coming off without it imploding. I mean, there's just so many details that don't necessarily go into a normal promotion.
But Eddie just did it, and people question him. Oh, the arena will never be built in time.
Yeah, but that wasn't a private island, though. You know what I'm saying?
It might as well, Ben.
I'm not saying that they couldn't do it.
Listen to me.
I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm saying at what cost is it being done versus how much is it going to really benefit? You're absolutely right. Content is king right now. And this guy's going ahead with UFC 249, which, by the way, we don't even know where that is. It's not on the island. It's not going to be in Brooklyn like it was supposed to be. This thing is like, it's like a mystery. Like what kind of promotional circus stunt is that? And I'm not saying that it's a stunt. Like I know why I understand why they have to do it this way.
The stunt is the intrigue. It's the intrigue. I'm not even a fan, and now I'm ready to find out what did he do and how did he get this event to continue? How did he get this green lit? Everyone else is shutting down. All the congressmen, everyone is stepping in. How is he buying islands and setting up these dream scenarios? That's what I'm saying. I'm interested. He's got me interested. If he's lying, he's lying. But we'll find out. We'll find out because you're right. He hasn't announced where this UFC is going to take place. And when they asked him in the TMZ interview, which there's video if you want to go to TMZ Sports, I just, didn't want to cut their shit up. It was going to be too much time consuming because it was a 3-minute interview. But yeah, if you want to go check it out, you can check it out at tmz.com, /sports, I believe. And, he had a mouthful to say, but he did not let the big cat out the bag in terms of where it's going to happen.
I bet it's because they still don't know everything yet. I bet it's still developing.
Maybe not. But would ESPN allow him to say that it's going to air on ESPN if ESPN hasn't already received the final location?
I think ESPN is in the business of doing whatever it takes to get eyes, and this is going to get eyes no matter what. So if it doesn't go through, it's really, I think, no skin off their back, because again, this is UFC essentially footing the bill. Like this isn't the same type of structured deal as PBC or as WWE. Yeah, it's probably different than WWE and Fox. Like this is a different type of thing, and by the way, fighters are already dropping out. I just saw that Rose, I can't pronounce her last name. Namajunas. I can't remember how to say it. She's the one from Ultimate Fighter. She just dropped out in a big fight with Jessica Andrade. That was like a huge draw.
Damn,
for the
so
UFC
Andrade's
249.
in both sports can't get a fight. Now listen, the thing is that
that was a cheap shot.
The thing is that you're staying hooked on the UFC. We're taking the UFC's idea. We're copying the UFC's idea. It doesn't mean because you copy it, you got to follow it to a T. We can improve upon it. It don't got to be an island for boxing. But boxing needs to wake up and realize that other people are out here working. And that's what happened. It took a little bit of time for the top ranks and the PBCs and everyone to realize, like, wait a minute, everyone's home. There is a crisis, but we got to keep working. And then you started to see people in their kitchens and in their living rooms doing content, even from Dr. Phil's to the Oprahs to the ESPNs, because
Conan O'Brien.
Content is king. You can't sit around and wait for the world to fix itself. You got shit to do.
I hear you, but in this case, it's a little different, I think, because look, even if you secured an island, where are these guys training? Or where are these guys and girls training? Like, where are they getting sparring off? And and he wants to put on fights every week. Let's steal that model for a second. We can get a private island. Let's just say Bermuda. I don't even know if that's a real place. I just remember the song. No, that's definitely a real place.
Yeah, Bermuda.
Montito's not a real place. Yeah, Bermuda's a real place.
Come on, pretty mama.
So here's the thing. Even if we secured this location and we were able to build an infrastructure and stage a fight and all this stuff, the fighters themselves, like, what kind of shape are they coming in? Like, we don't have a private facility for every single fighter. You know what I mean? So, but
that's what the testing is
gamble,
for.
In my opinion. It's going to take one cut man, one fighter, one, popcorn seller. I don't even know. I mean, they're not going to have popcorn, but you know what I'm trying to say? It's just going to take one person to just annihilate this idea.
Yeah, but you got to get them tested. You got to get them tested. Why are you acting like the popcorn worker is going to be the only one that didn't get tested? No one gets on the island without being tested. What's wrong with that?
Well, what's wrong with that is tests have proved that they've come back and given negative results. That there have been false tests. Like, we still don't have a grip on how many people are infected in the United States, let alone can we, test every single person that comes into a private island facility. Like, I think it's too much of a gamble. from my perspective, but from a businessman's perspective, from a promoter's, to be the only person with fights on right now, that would be huge, because even you right now, who's not a fan of UFC, is saying they'd watch.
Listen, you got to remember this. I didn't say I would watch. I said I'm waiting to see what's going to happen.
Interested. My bad.
I'm waiting to see what's going to happen. Is it going to is going to take off? But you got to remember, he said fights every week. So he's going to make whatever expenses he's incurring. He's planning to make it back by fucking doing fights every week. International fights with the island, and this is where you're getting it confused. He's already found the spot that he hasn't let us know. That's where the April fight card is happening. The island is something that's next. That's the next UFC. That's playing.
No. I understand that.
Exactly. So like he's already got a spot for American fighters.
For 2 months. They have it for 2 months.
And he's already got it for American-based fighters. The island is for international fighters that America's not allowing in here. That's what that's about. But keep in mind, we can fly out. I follow this strength and conditioning coach on Instagram, and I was telling my girl, she just said like travel ban's been lifted, and she went to Mexico. So there's you can go certain places, it looks like. But in about 6 minutes, keep an eye out for a Las Vegas 702. We should be having Blair the Flair Cobbs on the line. Woo! Very entertaining welterweight in the welterweight division. We'll see what's he talking about, and talk some boxing with him. Remember, he's waking up West Coast time as well, so we want to obviously thank him for that. And man, I don't know. I figured you being a UFC, I guess, watcher, you'd be a little more optimistic. And
I'm definitely interested for sure. Just like you, I'm definitely interested. I'm not going to say this is like a train wreck or anything like that, or it will be a train wreck. I think that obviously, like you said, these plans have been kind of in the mix for a little bit. So I'm sure they have certain logistics down. I can't imagine, with everything I know that it takes to put on a promotion, and then if you put that into the boxing world where, there is no UFC, like, who takes that charge? Who's able to provide those fights and that kind of content? I don't know. I just don't think boxing has that ability that the UFC and the WWE have, because they're Pepsi, they're Cola, they're Bud Light, they're Wheaties, they're McDonald's. Like, those are brand names. With boxing, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, you can say PBC, but it's not as prevalent in boxing as WWE is in wrestling, or as UFC is in MMA.
No, and I agree with you that no one entity, I guess, gets the same level of popularity as the UFC.
Yes.
But fighters do, though. Fighters do. Like, if you say Earl's fighting, Crawford's fighting, let me start over. If you say AJ's fighting, Canelo's fighting, people coming out. That's all. And again, the island probably ain't for everybody, Papa. The island is probably for the big names, so we could get the big bucks, because it costs a lot of money to make this happen. So it probably is for an AJ or a Canelo. You know what I mean? David Benavidez posted yesterday, the fight that the people want is him versus Canelo. Maybe that's it. Again, if the travel bans are lifted in Mexico, another thing I wanted to do, but I'm super lazy, is check, I guess, the CDC or the map for the virus and see what country has the lowest amount, and have they stopped allowing people in? Because that's another avenue. They could probably just go somewhere else, Some of these countries would accept them for the economics of it all. You heard Terrence Crawford on his interview with Coogan. He said, we don't got the same travel. I mean, we don't got the same bans that y'all do. Like, all we got to do is not be in the restaurants and stuff like that. But, we could still go out. He said he still goes out. He's still doing his thing. All, they get to pick up food. It's not as severe as in other cities. So I'm sure they could find somewhere. And then look, I mean, I don't follow politics like that, but from what I've been seeing, I feel like I've heard Trump kind of be in a hurry to get shit back together and running in terms of from an economical standpoint, right? Or am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So, I mean, I don't know. These restrictions that we think he may run into or boxing may run into trying to set something up like this up may not really be there because they probably want people to get back to work and being, making that money again. I don't know. Listen, we got our first guest in about 32 minutes. It's going to be Blair the Flair Cobb, signed to Golden Boy Promotions. And I believe he fought on that Daniel Jacobs undercard. And then after that, too, right before the whole ban, I believe he fought. But I'm sorry, I cut you right in the middle of you getting ready to say something.
No. That's that it's all good. No, it's fine. So anyway, I think if they did do it for like bigger fights, I could see that. I could see it in like a few months as they get more logistics. To me, the crazy thing with this one, with Dana White, is it's just happening so fast. And it's happening on the heels of everyone else bowing out. And I know that was one of the points you made, is that it's kind of not, I don't know if you didn't use the word respectful, but I understand what you meant. It's like a boss move to be doing this first, to be the only person that's like, you know what, everybody else is shut down. This is when we turn up. Like, I don't care. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so, I just don't know to what degree it's heartless, what degree it's too much of a risk, what degree it's just not worth it at the end of the day to make this attempt. But I will say this. I am happy that, UFC is going to be, I'm not saying I'm happy, but at least there's a guinea pig. If it doesn't work and it goes terribly wrong, terrific. We know. Don't do this dumb shit again. If it goes off without a hitch, guess what? Maybe that's the return of, baseball, football, basketball. Obviously those are much more difficult sports to bring back. But all I'm saying is that, we could be seeing an influx in promoters or promotions, or whatever entities putting on shows. So, it's not the worst idea. It's just, I guess because it's just come out and I've only had my time to wrap my brain around it, I'm not yet sold on the infrastructure being built, because it's one thing to say, okay, well, we're going to build a stadium or whatever for a UFC fight or, whatever. But it's another thing to say like, yo, listen, we don't know what this island is. You ever saw that Fire Island documentary? You realize how incredibly difficult it is to put on. Wait, I said Fire Island, Fire Festival. If you ever saw that documentary on Netflix or Hulu, you know how difficult it is to put on an event in the very, very unknown type of weather and conditions that you get on islands. The wind gets crazy. It's just like a bunch of stuff that can go wrong. And to build the infrastructure that, hosts medical equipment and medical tents and medical type of things and then just to use the bathroom, like, you know what I mean, does this island have plumbing? Are they building plumbing? Like, what? There's just so many questions, man. I'm not gonna
the questions I'm worried about are, does the island have fights, bro? You talking about bathrooms and all that shit. Listen, I'm gonna be in my house watching it on TV.
Gotta have bathrooms to have fights.
I'm gonna be in my house watching it on TV. They could sell a few Johnny on the spots in that motherfucker. You don't need an infrastructure, is what I keep telling you, because there's no fans. There's certain amenities that don't need to be 5-star level anymore. There's no paying customers. There's only viewing customers. So it's what we are putting on the screen needs to be quality. The bathroom? Man, go take a shit in a Johnny on the spot. You here to work. You're not here to fucking, this ain't no resort. You ain't about to get on the beach and tan. I don't know what you thinking.
A resort. To expect to use the bathroom, it's a resort. Yeah, look.
Why can't you use a Johnny on the spot? Construction workers do it all the time when they build an infrastructure.
But even that's part of infrastructure. Like, where do you put it? Are there trenches to keep them held down? Like,
what trenches?
You know what I mean? Like, there's so not trenches, but you know what I'm saying, when they dig them out.
Bruh,
we used to play
Johnny
baseball.
on the spots. Johnny on the spots are like portable potties, bro.
Potty.
They come prepared just to put them there and go to work. That's it.
But where? Look, here's the thing. We don't know what this island looks like. Like, where do you put
That's
them?
why I said
like,
sail them
what
in.
goes where?
Stop acting like you ain't been to
know.
it. Wait a minute. Have you never been to a beach that has a fucking porta potty? What's the difference? When you tell me island, I'm thinking sand, and I can see a porta potty on a sand beach. And listen,
have you ever seen the Fire Festival documentary?
No.
Okay, then that's where this issue is. You need to go watch that, and you need to see what a clusterfuck that was.
But wasn't that something that burnt down?
Way longer to put on.
Wasn't that something that burned down out in the desert?
No, that I think that was Fire Festival. I don't even know what Fire Festival is, but I mean not Fire Burning Man. Fire Festival was that big influencer party that they wanted to put on where they were going to have like this huge concert and people were paying these ridiculous prices to just go out to this private island, and they were going to like go to like some drug lord's old island and, you know, ride jet skis and fuck around with pigs and models and Instagrammers and all this crazy shit. Like it was nuts. It's a really crazy documentary. You got to watch it. And it went absolutely horribly wrong. And this, to me, sounds as ill-advised just off the top of my head, because at least they had the ability to just do business like normal. They didn't have to worry about doing all this in a pandemic, you know, because again, it's like food, like what kind of island is it? Is it like, are we talking about like an island that's like established and there's people there? Is this some like crazy island that like some drug lord had and did drops on? Like,
I think
we just don't know.
I think that you're overthinking it, bro. We sent astronauts.
Maybe.
We sent astronauts into space with less amenities, bro. We could get people, you know, some rehydratable food, whatever the case may be, bro. Eat canned food. It don't matter. That's what you're being paid for.
A fighter to eat canned food?
Not the fighter. Not the fighter. The fighter's still gonna be a fighter. He's still gonna be going through training camp. He's still gonna be doing what he's always done. He still got his team that he believes in. Like, I seen Caleb Plant training. Like, people ain't shit changed for most. Caleb Plant was training saying, I'm going to catch them slipping. So he's staying ready to get the dudes that ain't working out. So what I'm telling you is that it ain't changed for a fighter. What it changed for is the promoter and the networks. And now we're hypothetically discussing boxing, putting together something like this. And again, I just think you're getting hung up on small points like food, bro. They could have a catering service. It's a catering service, bro.
Again, I think there's the problem that I think you're having. You are considering your visits to islands where it's like, boom, that shit's there. Like, we don't know
what do you mean?
How this works in any sort. Well, like when you go to the DR, right?
Yes.
Everybody's there, right? The hotel's there.
Yes.
The food's there already, right? The bathrooms are there already.
Yes.
The hospitals are there already.
Yes.
In a situation where you're building basically an entire infrastructure around these events going on, all that has to be accounted for.
But this is what I'm telling you, Mario.
That's
in the Dominican Republic, there's many surrounding islands, you know what I mean? One day I really want us to go. I've always said it, do a little reunion over there. But the point is, there's many surrounding islands around the DR that are not, people are not living on them. They're not habitable. That people just go there to sunbathe, and then you got to sail out. And that's what I'm telling you. Like Samana, or forget it, Catalina. You sail to Catalina during the day. You can't, if you can spend a night, you know what I'm saying? But where? You gonna camp there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's a porta potty. There's tables, you know, and every day it's a business for them. They go to this private island where no one lives, and you know, it's not ruined by humans except for the everyday use on the recreational point. So the snorkeling is better, the sunbathing is better, everything is better because it's just a beach. It's just an island.
Man,
so
that's dope.
So again,
dope.
Bro, if you get in one, no, just let me finish. If you get one boat,
no, go ahead.
If you get one boat, a commercial boat, bro, an industrial boat, you know, if it's gonna have, if you need this much stuff, fine. Well, then get one of those big ass boats that sail to the Dominican Republic with the we call them fugones. I don't know how you say it in English. It's like the metal box, the containers that you see on trucking and shipping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're big.
Yeah.
Normally, you see they open up in drug busts and it's like Coke inside.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I was about to say too.
Okay, so those containers, bro, there's massive ships that sail those in, and they come to the DR. Okay, so Whatever you need goes in a container. Whatever you need goes on the ship. And then everything gets sailed in, bro. Porta potty sailed in. The food sailed in. The ring sailed in. It's not a big deal. Not to me, I guess because I'm Caribbean and we're used to island life. I don't know what's the big deal.
I'm sure there's a price to get everything done. I'm sure there is. During a pandemic, how much more expensive is it to get food there? During a pandemic, how much more expensive is it for that boat to? I don't know. I mean,
listen, if you're buying an island or securing an island, you ain't doing it in the U.S. Virgin Islands, you know?
No, you're right. But let me ask you a question then. Let's assume for a second that, I'm not even going to put it like that. I'm going to put it like this. Are you okay with these fights going on if these guys do not get a proper training camp? If everybody's in the kind of same boat where we can't secure for sure, regular training, regular sparring, are you okay with these fights going off?
Before I answer that, you follow politics more. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought I heard or seen something where they said that now there's an influx of new tests that also give results faster, right?
Yeah, and they're going to keep getting faster. They're going to turn the blood tests, find out who's been sick, period.
So your question was, am I okay with?
Are you okay if these fights go off with diminished training camps, lack of sparring, all that stuff? But everybody's in the same boat, though.
I think that I don't even think that exists. Again, Canelo's training. It is serious, right? We see people that are passing away close to us, close to fighters we know. Because my significant other works in the hospital, it's really close to me, so I'm hearing more messages. But it's not bothering everyone. Canelo Alvarez was just in the gym with Nas Escobar. Nas the rapper. Nas from Harlem. What was Nas from New York City, where the pandemic is even greater, doing with Canelo in the ring, throwing fucking punches? Listen, some people are afraid, some people are not. I'm not saying it's not serious. I'm not trying to diminish what's going on. I'm just saying, stop acting like people ain't training. We got fighters every day telling us we sparring. Jessica McCaskill is sparring.
So then in this case, you're saying that you'd rather it be like a smaller fight card with just like a big name that can do it, because like a top to bottom card with 10, 12 fights, 90% of the people on that card are the people that we talk to every day that don't have a training, the ability to train.
There is a reason some of these fighters are staying as busy as they are. Okay? I just believe some people know when they're going to go. We had someone on. I can't remember because we interviewed so many people, but you specifically said, wait, did they tell you a date? And, he's like, yo, they just told me stay ready or something like that. Do you remember who we interviewed? It could have been this week. Definitely last. No?
David Benavidez.
Boom. And that's a high-level name. 2-time WBC champ. That's what I'm telling you. They are waiting. As anxious as we are as boxing fans to see boxing, promoters, managers, and fighters are ready to get shit back going.
Remember, he said he wasn't training. That they had just found a spot.
No.
Decide.
He said he was working out in his house, but his father just opened up a new gym, and they've been working in a new gym. And his father...
No, he didn't say that. I promise he didn't say that.
I bet you go back. And his father also said that because it's a new gym, they've been keeping it clean and this, that, and the third. But again, he's not the only one. There's fighters that keep saying they working out. If you follow fighters on social media, Devin Haney's working out. Devin Haney just got...
But I'm not saying... But again, I'm not saying that they're not going to be able to work out, period. I mean, anybody can get crunches in on the floor. All I'm saying is that are you okay with fights taking place if fighters don't have their regular full camps?
I just don't see that happening.
They don't have their full equipment.
I don't see that happening. Why wouldn't they have adequate time? They still got to build the infrastructure and sail everything in. They got adequate time. They're going to get the names they need and tell them to get ready. Why would they be on short notice? Everyone's waiting at home. Why would it be short notice?
Look, I'm not asking if you think it's a thing that can happen. I'm asking if
Am I okay with it?
Are you okay if
I just
but
didn't wanna-
everybody is on the same playing field, right?
I just didn't really want to be in that box because I feel that's less probable. But yeah, if everyone's on the same playing field, people are gonna do it regardless. Some people are gonna be in shape, some are not. So like, I just think that question is like whatever. Like that's up to the fighter. You know what I want.
That would be my answer to it. Is they're gonna fight no matter what. So who am I to stop them? Who am I to say, wait, you didn't get to hit the punching bag, or I mean, you didn't get to hit the.
What I want and what we get is just two different things, man. That's
where I was gonna take it.
I was saying what we want and what we get is just two different things.
Yeah, for sure. I just like I said, I don't think that this. Okay, I'll put it like this: if we see this UFC card go off without a hitch, which I shouldn't even say that because there's plenty of hitches already. But if this goes off and it's successful, then they move on to the island idea, and that's successful. Terrific. Boxing's got a guinea pig, and we can definitely go off of the. Here's the thing: if it's possible to do, I think we'd be seeing a lot of other people attempting it.
But other
even though you
like
did say
who?
WWE is attempting it, so I guess that's not really fair. They're like the kind of size of.
But isn't the WWE and UFC the same owners?
No, different owners.
Oh, because I thought I seen my man King
WWE
Mello.
is public, but it's still owned primarily by the McMahon.
So it's not a Disney company.
No. ESPN is a Disney company, and they have the UFC contract, so maybe that's where.
I don't know. Listen, we got to think of something, right? Because how bad for the wallets of not only fighters, managers, but promoters alike if boxing doesn't come back till the fall. If we're really talking, I don't know, September, October, I think that we suffer. We suffer if we wait that long, or if we're forced to wait that long. Totally a different story. But, him being creative and trying to be innovative, I have to applaud it. And I have to say that I want boxing to copy. If he's able to be successful, why shouldn't we copy?
Yeah, no, that I can agree with. That I could say, yeah, look, if it goes off, like I don't think it should go off. I don't expect it to go off successfully. And I certainly don't think it's going to be easy no matter what. But yeah, if it goes off, if this UFC 249 goes off and it's able to be completed and nobody's hurt and nobody's sick and we can move on, okay, well then let's go to the island. And then if the island thing works, then yeah, boxing can follow suit. And here's the other thing about it. Boxing's already coming up with the ideas to start bringing this back. I mean, I can't remember where I read this, but I was reading in
where, Mr. Freeze Up. I don't know. Is it me or is it him?
You can still hear me. Can you hear me?
I hear you, yeah.
Did you hear me the whole time or no?
Not the whole time. You said something.
Okay, yeah, it froze out.
Yeah.
It froze out. So anyway, yeah, the point I was making before
you sure
putting
you're
the
on,
financials.
Ethernet over there?
I definitely
because I'm doing a speed test as we speak, and I got some pretty impressive numbers here, man. I'm just gonna reset the Skype real quick, okay? Pay attention to your phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know because my download speeds are 91.85 megabytes per second, and I'm about a 40 on the up. I got good internet out here. I don't know. But yeah, man, I'm optimistic, man. I want Dana White, I guess, to succeed so that we can copy. And I don't think that we need to wait either, we should build off this idea if we're boxing or the powers that be. I mean, why sit around and wait for, someone else to create something great. Listen, you got fans and a lot of them that want boxing. They're starving for content, so, you know. But we got Blair the Flair Cobbs coming on in about 12 minutes, it looks like. And, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good show. We'll be definitely talking to the Flair about everything that is the welterweight division, since that's where he's campaigning at. And, yeah, man, we'll see what's next for him. And I know he hasn't looked the great. Well, the last fight he didn't look the greatest, right? Like, he definitely, had some hands put on him, but he got that win. I don't know. We're going to have to get that story. I know he's got a very interesting story, so we will be talking to Blair the Flair Cobbs in the welterweight division. We're also going to be having welterweight Brandon Lee on this evening at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, p.m. We'll have Brandon Lee at 8:30. Right before Brandon Lee at 8 o'clock, we'll have Gabriel Rosado, Philadelphia fighter, now relocated to California. And, kind of the people's champ, man. Kind of the people's champ, a guy with significant amount of losses on his career, but people still admire him and respect him and definitely don't mind seeing him in the ring. And we're going to try and ask him, I guess, everything that is, everything that is he and Daniel Jacobs. I know there was a little back and forth between he and Jacobs. Jacobs has some options, so, he may not be interested in a Gabe. So we got to see what's next for Gabe, because I don't know. I feel like it's been a minute since he stepped in the ring. I want to feel like maybe what the Selecki was his last fight or something like that. So he definitely needs something. Before getting in the ring with a guy like Jacobs for sure, if he wants to be successful. But we got about another 10 minutes till we get Blair the Flair. And, if you're listening to this, the number to call in, 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 one time if you want to voice your opinion, want to, let us know how you feel about trying to copy this UFC idea of securing a private island for boxing, keep the boxing going rather than having us waiting. Yes, Steve in Chicago says, sad truth is boxing doesn't care about its fans. Yeah, I mean, we've definitely had some promoters say certain things similar to that. Won't deny that. But yeah, man, look, we got to try something, man, or we'll be sitting around doing nothing for a long time. I mean, there's only so far we can go with interviews. And I don't mean us specifically. I mean, if you look around, everyone is doing interviews now with boxers and, their own promotional companies or entities, their broadcasters. Everyone is trying to keep their fighters relevant. But again, if you don't know when you're going to fight, there's only so much you can tell us or there's only so far or long you can keep us intrigued without a date, without knowing who you, at least like a pro grade, he knows he's fighting a hooker. So maybe that conversation goes well. But if you don't know who you're fighting or when you're fighting, I don't know. I feel like it just becomes a lot more difficult to stay hot or relevant. You got to have something, popping, something actually out there for your fans to stay, interested in you or, something, bro. And that's what they're doing with these interviews. But again, only so far that can go. So, having a private island or a facility or a facility, because don't get stuck on a private island. Remember that this guy Dana White is still having his April show where everyone else's April, contests and their May fights, all that's been canceled. Shakur was supposed to fight, canceled. Dubois was supposed to fight, canceled. Even AJ was supposed to fight like June or something like that. That got canceled. Just think about all the high level names that have been canceled. Meanwhile, his April fight isn't canceled, or his April show isn't canceled. His April show, he's still doing, from exclusive remote location that he has not revealed the location. And let's go down conspiracy theorist road. Maybe he hasn't told anybody where it's at because not everything is going to be clear. I don't know, but
like he's lying, or like
I don't know. I'm just saying, because like where everyone else has canceled. I mean, AJ's canceled. Cinco de Mayo's canceled for Canelo. Like, every big name in boxing is canceled, but UFC is still saying that the April card is off and they're ready to rock and roll. I'm interested. I want to know.
And you know what's crazy too? Like, I know that you don't know a lot about MMA, but the replacement that they got, because originally it was supposed to be Khabib. You know who Khabib is, right? The guy that fought Conor McGregor,
Yes.
and they got into that big old brawl. Okay, so he was supposed to fight Tony Ferguson, who's fighting this weekend. That fight actually was scheduled 3 or 4 times, and injuries ruined it every time. It got postponed. They were saying that they were never going to make it again. Now here, the coronavirus affected it, and what's his name is stuck in wherever he's from. I can't remember where he's at right now. So they move ahead, and they got a new opponent who's really good. Jeremy Guthrie, I think is how you say his name. I can't remember, but he's fighting Tony Ferguson. So boxing has the ability to do this too. Boxing has the ability to kind of plug and play in different ways. But again, like, I think it all just goes back to like the way it works the first time. But
And he's gone. What is going on, bro? This is getting a little...
Others kind of...
Yeah, it happened. Don't worry about it, man. Just keep it going. No clue.
I'll keep chilling. But yeah, so anyway, I don't know what you heard, but yeah. It's,
no, you said boxing has the ability to do this. You were like, I think in the middle of saying that Tony Ferguson, something there.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson is fighting, I think Jeremy Guthrie is how you say it. I'm not really...
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
You said Jeremy Guthrins is how you say it, or something like that.
I think Guthrie. It's something like that. But he's a solid fighter though. But paying for a UFC 249, that's the difficult part throughout this. Like,
are you gonna pay for it? If it actually happens and they're selling, like, are you gonna watch it?
Yes, I'm gonna.
There you go. You see, and that's the thing with no content on. Like, who wouldn't? I mean, I know I'm not, because I don't know any of those names. Maybe if it was a Connor, then I'd watch it on like Instagram, highlights or something. But no, because Instagram will have it out immediately.
Oh yeah, immediately.
Whether they're recording someone's TV or they got the actual footage, they will have it out.
I gotta go to a wedding, I just have it waiting on Instagram. Like, all right, let's see, 10 o'clock, 10:30. All right, 10:45. Fight should be over. Let's see, what happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we got about 4 minutes. So if you can, remember that 7:02 is what we're looking for. We're going to be getting Blair the Flair Cobbs, and we're also talking Dana White securing a private island for the UFC fights, and he's planning on pumping out fights every week. Not to mention his April event has not been canceled, where every other sport is canceled April and May. Big names in boxing like Canelo in May are done. Joshua in June done. Dubois, Joyce, gone. And UFC still out here saying they're doing
here's
something.
what I would hate to happen, right? I would hate for this to go off because we really don't know what we're in store for. You know, I've read articles that say that, you know, we've done really well at social distancing throughout the country, and that there are a lot of places that are going to be able to get back to normal faster. You know, it would be a shame if like all this happens and then like 2 months later, you know, I mean, if it happens successfully, that's great. But if something goes wrong with the UFC's plan and then like 2 months later we're back in business, it would be horrible. But again, I think it's just important for boxing to kind of, if we're going to follow suit. Oh, you know, that's the point I was going to make earlier. We know we're in a situation where these networks are going to attempt a studio fight. We've already been told live on these airwaves that, you know, Impact's going to do that. You know, Steve Marcano told us that they're going to do a studio fight, and he's not the only one. I promise you, you look into the interviews of Espinosa and a few others, you know, Eddie Hearn, and you listen deep enough. You know, this isn't no on conspiracy tip. This is like for real. You listen deep enough, you can tell they're getting ready to start something. They're going to try something. I promise you.
Bro, no one's going to wait around. That's what I'm telling you.
No one's going to wait. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
When you see your meteorologist doing the fucking weather from his kitchen, you know that people are going to get back to work one way or another. What about your local news anchor? Like, they're still coming to the studio.
Yeah, they are. That's a good point.
You know, like some people just are essential, and he's making it out to, you know, he hasn't made out in his mind that UFC is essential, and I'm saying so is boxing. So let's copy. You know what I mean? Because his event isn't canceled, and his fanatics are going to purchase that pay-per-view, man. They really will. We'll see what the numbers look like. And did it make financial sense when it's all said and done?
Dude, what if it's like these crazy numbers? Because like right now we're still early on, and people might.
I think so, because people are starving for content. It might be easier to get these, you know, consumers and customers, because right now everyone is starving. So, you know, he's probably going to get more buys than he thought, because think about it. Everyone's home. Everyone's home. No one's not home to miss it. No one's out on a Saturday or a Friday night having drinks after work. That doesn't exist anymore. Everyone's home. So it's all about marketing. I don't know. I think that.
What was that area code?
I do see a 702, so I'm going to go straight to it. Blair the Flair Cobbs, what's going on, my friend? Good morning. Mario, but anyway, so
you know, these guys trying studio fights, that's gonna work. I do think. Okay, I'll put it this way: if we aren't completely ravaged by the pandemic by the time that they're ready to do it, it will work. It's gonna be fun, and they're gonna be able to do things that they wouldn't be able to do with an audience in an arena. You know, and for better or for worse, it helps the mystique play out on TV, you know, and maybe that's just a wrestling fan in me, but who knows?
Let me see. Blair the Flair Cobbs, is this you? Good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Woo! Happy to have you on, Mr. Flair. How are you? How are you, brother? I know there's some tough times with COVID-19, but we're hoping you're doing okay.
Absolutely. Everything is doing just fine. We just waiting our time. As soon as this clears up, I can't wait to get back in the ring, baby.
All right, so that's what we're actually talking about. Dana White actually came out, spoke to TMZ Sports, and he's saying that he's securing a private island for some UFC fights. He's going to be cranking out fights every week. And we're like, man, boxing needs to copy that. What do you think about fighting in a private island as long as everyone there is tested and it's green lit?
Man, I think that's an incredible idea. I want to get on that right now. You know, that's just incredible. I need to get me a private island. We need to get these fights cranking out and showing the world what Blair the Flair is all about.
Hey Blair, so how is life been treating you as far as training and being able to kind of move over? This is Mario Mugia, by the way, and kind of able to move the training into this new world that we're living in.
It presents a few challenges. Cause like I can't really just get into any gym. It's challenging, that's for sure. But I'm just taking it day by day and making the adjustments to getting able to stay in shape and everything. I'm still going through pretty intense workouts regimens. It's not quite the same. I haven't got it quite down packed as far as like where to go and everything to do and try to master my own training. You know, is a bit of a challenge, but hey, we're up to the challenges, so that's okay.
So Blair, let us know what it is that you're doing to stay in shape. Caleb Plant just came out and put out his whole little regimen that he's doing in his garage. Like, what is the Flair doing to remain in tip-top shape?
Well, first and foremost, we have to go running. I do a lot of running, but it's different types of running. You know, because I have a track and I have a regimen that I do at a park that is pretty intense, that pretty much challenged me to a point where I know exactly where I am as far as if I'm ready to actually fight. So it's just all about putting out a whole lot of effort to make sure that like I get in top shape. Whole lot of push-ups, sit-ups, hand work, and things like that.
Now, Blair, my co-host and I were talking a little bit ago. Me and Ness were having a discussion about really the UFC thing, but fighting in general. And we were wondering if these fights can be put on. Let's say they can put on a boxing promotion in a month, right? Do you think that these fights should go on if fighters aren't able to access the gym the way they could, have the kind of training camp they could, but we can assume that everybody's kind of in the same boat? Do you think it would be fair to still put it on, or do you think that promoters should shy away from that?
I think these promoters should definitely have a heart-to-heart conversation with fighters when it comes to being prepared to fight. See, the moment everything clears, and this might go on until June or sometime, or even July. Everyone has to be in agreement. Everyone has to have complete and total communication, because a lot of these fighters are not going to be able to train the best way they can, and they're shutting down the gyms. So technically, if you really got in the gym, that's technically illegal. You know, you're not supposed to open your gym. You know, so when you see those videos of guys that's in the gym, like, actually that's technically illegal. So like, you know what I'm saying? It's a pretty rough time for athletes. And then of course shows are not being put on, you know, unless you're incredibly lucky to find like the loophole, like, oh, we're in a private island and this and that. That's, you know, but it's a very tough task to continue on with boxing and even the MMA world.
All right, so I got a few questions from the people, so I'll do
one.
Hold on. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll do one, and then you can still get yours.
Cool.
So the first one is from George Foster in the UK. He says, excluding Rocky Balboa, who would you say are the top 3 fighters to ever come out of Philly?
Top 3 fighters to ever come out of Philadelphia. Wow, it's just so many of them. Like, it depends on what year, or we just doing like the whole, like as a whole. I love Smoking Joe Frazier. Man, they have a few of them. They got Meldrick Taylor, Bernard Hopkins, my mentor. They have so many of them. You know, it's just like in today's world, they have a ton of talent that is not that's really not exposed to the world because of just the lack of resources, and just the harshness of the of poverty and everything like that in the city.
All right, Blair. So I'm gonna ask you, because even though I know the answer, well, I've heard you answer this before, but I'm gonna ask it for our callers. I am a huge wrestling fan, so Blair the Flair Cobbs, to me, is probably one of the most epic nicknames of all time. Where did you get the nickname from? And what inspired you? Again, I'm sure, like, and I'm not even saying like inspired, but like, you know what? Just tell me why you chose that nickname.
Well, that nickname was really, I think the nickname actually chose me. I used to be in the gym. I was tearing things up, and people used to call me a lot of things because I have like this split personality. When I get in the gym, I'll come in one way and then leave out a completely different way. And the name just kind of stuck. I was in the gym working out and fighting, having a whole lot of fights in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia region. I fought out of the same gym as this one of these prestigious trainers out there. You might hear about him, Brother Dazn Richardson.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And he actually would come to some of my amateur fights, and he was just so rambunctious and like excited about the fight. Everybody was, I brought a lot of excitement in those four corners inside Philadelphia, and he was like, "Yo, come on, Blair, Blazing Blair, let's go, come on, Blair, Flair," and everybody just kind of like, it kind of caught on with everybody calling me Blair Flair, and it just like, okay, I guess that's the name. Like, it was that, and people would call me Clark Kent because of that change that I go through when I'm fighting. It's a dramatic change. Like, I will come in with a suit and tie and glasses, and then all of a sudden come out of the bathroom a completely different person, running around the ring, daring anybody to get in the ring with me. Just full of excitement, talking the most crap.
That's what's up. We got another one from Carlito in the UK who says, "Wow, I have just read the story about your father and the plane and the trip to Mexico. Please, if you don't mind, share this story with us. You have definitely had a different upbringing. Got a lot of respect for you, Blair." Shit, did we lose him?
I don't think so.
Yep, looks like it. I'll get him back.
Damn.
Keep me,
That's weird. I see him there. Oh, there we go. I got it. Yo, this is not working. This blog talk is just on some BS. But, yeah, no,
Blair, just give us a sec. We're going to reconnect. I'm sure he hears us. We just got to reconnect you to the system. So, do apologize, brother. Internet, man. Everybody's home. That's probably what's affecting it, right? Think about it. How many people go to work from 8 to 9, or 8 to 4, and now they're home? So they're probably,
and the kids.
Yeah, the kids on the Wi-Fi juicing the internet. And meanwhile, I have no one here. I mean, my son is definitely here, but he's not juicing me. But Blair, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry about that. We had to reconnect internet, man. Everybody being home because of this COVID, they're destroying the internet connection. But did you hear the question? Or should I repeat?
Please repeat.
All right. Carlito says in the UK, "Wow, I've just read the story about your father and the plane and the trip to Mexico. Please, if you don't mind, share this story with us. You have definitely had a different upbringing. Got a lot of respect for you, Blair."
Oh, yeah. Man, well, I guess like the whole idea of like my upbringing is consistently starting over. Even before moving to Mexico, like I was consistently starting over and over and over and over again, moving from place to place, not really understanding like my situation, and like that was just kind of like the last straw. Is moving to Mexico and like not having anything, being on the run is pretty tough. That's probably worse than just going ahead and taking your L and going to jail. At least you can still like live within your own like identity. You know, having that whole like running on the run and all that stuff, and constantly trying to make up a new lie and this lie to as far as like why you're there, and trying to blend in, even though you can't blend in because you're not like the people around you. You know, it's a pretty interesting situation, especially for a child to be in. So I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been a roller coaster. Honestly, I feel like I've been living in a movie my whole life, and I don't even know the ending to this story. Like, it seems like other people know it more than I do. You know, so but I'm just trusting in faith and believing in God and believing in the people around me to go ahead and get to these world titles and become as great as all these people believe I am.
Well, Blair, man, definitely thank you for sharing that. We got Israel Weber in Oklahoma that says, thanks for coming on the Boxing Voice. Glad to see you fight just prior to COVID shutdowns. Who's on your short list in terms of stepping up in the welterweight division? After the dust settles and you're passing through Oklahoma, lunch on me.
Absolutely, that's great. My short list, man, my list is long because honestly, everybody can get it. You know, even the people that's talking the most crap can get it. Like Jesse Vargas, all of these guys can get it. Honestly, there's really no telling. Any one of the top welterweight fighters can take a loss to Blair Flair. Reason why is because I'm incredibly fast, but that's not just the case. I have fast feet, fast hands. I'm very calculative. It looks like chaos in that ring when I get in it. You know, and there's a reason behind it. It looks like I don't know what I'm doing, but somehow I'm still completely under control and completely controlling the fight. There's reasons and ways that I do that. You know, there's more to my game than what meets the eye, and I just want to take it to the top league, because I've already beaten top fighters and in sparring and in all kinds of things. I've completely dismantled a lot of really great talent out there, and I can't wait to just show the world that I am the number one fighter in the world.
Intrigue in Atlanta says, if Keith One-Time Thurman versus Terrence Bud Crawford fight happens, who do you have and why?
Man, I'll have any one of them. I'll have any one of them. Any one of them can catch the Wu Kid anytime, anywhere. You know, I would like the winner of that fight.
I think that's what he was asking. Who do you think would win?
Oh man, who I think will win? Well, I feel like Terrence Crawford, Terrence Crawford and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman's a little bit on the decline right now. He's getting huge, so it's looking like he's having a hard time making that weight. That weight loss process is the hardest part. But then again, Keith did look amazing in the Manny Pacquiao fight. So I don't know. It's going to be a toss-up, I believe. There's not too many people that can beat Terrence Crawford. Honestly, just from looking at what he's able to do, you need a silly joker like me to beat somebody like Terrence Crawford. Honestly, like people you gotta be completely like unpredictable to beat a Terrence Crawford. I've been already prepared to beat a Terrence Crawford because I'm the perfect guy to beat him. But these other guys, I don't know. Why you though? Why you? Because this the wrong show to say that. I'm telling you, we got some serious Bud tenders, and they part of the Butterhood, and they don't like anything you say bad about Bud. That's good. Oh, I'm not saying anything bad about Bud. We always bickering though. Me and Bud, we always at each other. But and we're like in a friendly manner, of course. But the why did I say that is this. People that's awkward can catch Terrence. You know, people that's unpredictable can catch Terrence. People that's incredibly fast with their feet can offset talent. That's just nature. Look, Terrence Crawford, he wasn't like the elite, unbelievably talented dude that like destroyed everybody in the amateurs. There's been times where he couldn't get past guys. Why? Because they were just that much more talented than him. Bud Crawford is not a talented fighter. Bud Crawford is an incredibly hard-working fighter. He works so hard to master so many skills because he's not talented. He's not incredibly talented. You get what I'm saying? He learned how to switch feet, do this, do that. You know what I mean? All the little in particulars because he's not that talented. He's not that fast. He's not that strong. You know what I mean? He's not anything that really stands out. But these incredibly talented fighters beat him every time in the amateurs. Guys from Philly. If you want to be specific, guys from Philly beat him.
Who? Because I know Danny
like
beat him. I know Danny from Philly beat him, but who else from Philly?
Exactly. Danny beat him. Dynamite Carl Dargan beat him. Pretty much anybody that got in the ring from Philly beat him. And he's not unbeatable in that sense, but Terrence Crawford is an incredibly hard-working fighter. You're going to have to outwork him. You know what I mean? You got to be prepared to outwork him.
But
a silly joker like me that's incredibly talented, incredibly fast, and like very, very off rhythm the way I fight. You know what I mean? Very like weird the way I fight. And then not only that, I have dog mentality too. I will get knocked down, and then you will see a completely different person when I get off that canvas to destroy, to completely annihilate my opponent. Somebody like Blair Flair is just the perfect setup to destroy somebody like Terrence Crawford, even though Terrence Crawford is nearly perfect in a sense.
Well, that was amazing. I mean, I'm telling you, that is the soundbite of the day. Thank you so much for that. We got the next one coming from Decatur, Georgia, that says, Lidge Low. He says, what it do, Blair? I gotta keep it real, fella. You're entertaining for sure, but in my opinion, you can be a better boxer. In parentheses, he says, no disrespect intended. Just my observation. Do you reach out to any vets in the game like Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Shane Mosley, etc. for advice?
Absolutely. I'm always around those people consistently. Shane Mosley, Bernard Hopkins, Oscar De La Hoya. I'm around these guys a lot. The thing with you gotta understand this, and this is for everybody that might not understand what's going on with my career and how I'm getting to these levels that people aren't getting to, while still looking like I'm not quite a finished product. Look, coming into the boxing world, nobody believed in me, not one person. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of guys, like my last guy, right? The last guy, what they like to bring up is the fact that he's been off. You know what I'm saying? But at least somebody believed in him before he got off, before he got laid off or whatever, or sat down for a little bit for 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? Somebody believed in his ass, because before then he actually amassed more than 20 fights. You get what I'm saying? But me, I was sitting down, and I couldn't even get to continue fighting for years in the beginning stages of my career. So what you see is Blair Flair is not 20-0, 30-0. You know what I'm saying? I'm only like 14, 15-0. You know, and everything literally happened in the last like couple years. You know, but when I first started, I couldn't get a fight to save my life because I was working everybody in the gyms of Philly. And the moment anybody asked about me, they'll tell them, like, oh, no, don't take that fight. That dude he's too much. You know what I mean? And he, on top of that, he's not like an Olympian. So, like there's no kind of prestige going behind him. There's no money behind him. That stuff happens. You know what I'm saying? But going into boxing, it's not like somebody came out and gave me like $100,000 and got my career up and going. You know, I had to grind. I had to work. You know, I had to keep the faith in the beginning stages. I was 4-0 for 3 years. So like you just gotta understand that. Like so all that hard work I did in the amateurs leading up to the pros, all that kind of like faded. And then I had to restart again. You know what I mean? As Blair to Flair, I had to restart again in Las Vegas. So what I'm doing now is staying consistent. You know, there's a lot of things that I do in the gym. You know, I could pull up some footage of just the recent sparring. And we're making a lot of really good adjustments, and we're boxing.
Who's your trainer, Blair?
But my trainer is Brandon Woods, and Bones Adams also helps me out too. Kenny Adams, he helps me out too. It's a lot of guys that helps me out, but Brandon Woods is my trainer, and he's doing an incredible job. But the thing is that it takes time. It takes experience. It takes more fights to convert everything from the gym into the fight. And what you see is an incredible learning curve. But that's because everything has to be converted. You know, it takes time for this stuff to materialize into the actual fight. So what you see is, oh, snap, okay, I'm not moving around as much. I'm landing punches. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm able to punch and move at the same time, and then I'm able to stop. I'm able to punch in the inside. You know, one of my fights, I knocked down a guy from the inside. It wasn't even an outside shot. You know, it's a lot going on. But I just hope that the people, the fans, can be just a little patient, and they will see greatness. They will see the finishing touches on my boxing game. You know, it's just not all out there yet. And plus, there's really not competition that can challenge what I got. Honestly, there's not too many people out there that can really challenge my boxing skills. Dude, I've been controlling everything, like from the opening bell to everything. Even when something bad happens, I'm in complete control. There's like my limitations are so vast that I haven't even been challenged. You know, even with like being in there with top contenders. You know, I've been in there with some real fighters early in my career. In order to get where I'm at, I had to fight. You know, most of these fighters ain't fighting a damn thing. You know, they're fighting tomato cans and every like, you know, I'm the guy that won a 16-1 underdog. You know what I mean? And that's how I got to where I am. I got to where I am by fighting consistently as the underdog, you know, and building up my boxing skills. That comes with experience. Unfortunately, I can't rush that process. You know, I can't become 30-0, 25-0 overnight. So we have to grind. We have to consistently be challenged, and we have to consistently take these fights in order for the fans and for the people to see the finished product of Blair to Flair.
All right. Well, Blair, I got a few more. Sonny Wood says, morning, sir. Or should I say, woo! Always a belief of mine, but definitely in your last fight, you fought with tenacity of Tank and the outgoing personality of Lopez. My question, we've seen fighters like Lopez, Tank, Shakur, and Garcia get spotlighted early in and out of the ring. Is your promotional team setting you up for television exposure to build your reach? The world needs to see more of you. #Warrior Days.
Absolutely. First of all, Sonny, I got to give you a woo. Woo! But anyways, absolutely. Look, there's a method to the madness. Every time you see Blair to Flair, he's on a major attraction. He's on a major show. Either it's Ryan Garcia or Canelo Alvarez or even any other major major venue, a major television card. We have to continually and consistently tap into mainstream media. So we have to consistently be on these major cards. and then sooner or later we're going to be the main event, and that's just what it is. They have to spotlight me. The world needs to see what Blair Flair is about, because that's must-see TV. That's must-see television. The fight, the skills, the charisma, the dedication, the ability to get knocked down and get back up, the ability to outbox the fighter. There's really not too much that Blair Flair can't do. So this is must-see television. This is the future of boxing.
All right, a few more. Jemmy in Delaware says, you definitely entertain. Can I get a woo? Stay safe, brother, and keep making noise.
Absolutely. And we can get another one, baby. And we can go on and on and on. Blair the Flair, the most exciting man in boxing. Woo!
We got John Feliciano says, morning, Blair. I've watched your past 3 fights, which are all entertaining. If you could fight one champion in the division, who would it be?
The toughest opponent would be Terrence Crawford. Why? Because that's a battle of skill. That's a battle of skill at its top level. Honestly, I take Terrence Crawford as the toughest opponent, like way tougher than Earl Spence. Earl Spence is tough, but he's not that. He's not a battle test of skill. He's really a battle test of will. That's a different kind of opponent. Who would I want to pick out of the two? I'll pick the toughest one. Blair Flair is not running from anybody. I'm building up, but I'm not running from anybody. So we're gonna go with the toughest fighter, which is Terrence Crawford. I believe that Earl Spence is definitely a tough fighter, but I don't think that he's as tough of a fighter as Terrence Crawford is.
You don't confuse me.
Is very tough.
You don't confuse me, because you just said Crawford had no talent and isn't strong. So how is he a tougher fight?
He's a tougher fight because of all the things that he acquired. Like Terrence Crawford is a workhorse, just like Earl Spence. But Terrence Crawford is a workhorse in 2 levels. He's a workhorse physically, and he's a workhorse mentally. He actually took out the time to learn how to box on both feet, on both sides. He actually took out the time to quickly analyze a fighter and break him down and try to find that little hole in his armor, that little kink in his armor, and break that down. Instead of just boxing and going head to another unanimous decision, he finds a way to knock these guys out, even in the later rounds. Terrence Crawford is a problem. In order for somebody to beat Terrence Crawford, they gotta be on top of him at all times. You can't just be talented to beat him. You have to be mentally ready to be there at all times, to always be one step ahead of that man. That's nothing to play with. Earl Spence, he's a different caliber dude. The thing that you gotta be is dog ready. Like, you just gotta be hellified in shape, and as long as you can outwit him and outspeed him, and you can beat somebody like a Earl Spence. But Earl Spence is going to come hard in the end. You just got to know that. Earl Spence is a tough-ass fighter. You seen what he did to Kell Brooks, but did you see how Kell Brooks handled him in the earlier go-rounds?
I just rewatched that
Kell
fight,
Brooks
man.
had thrown a little more hooks, Kell Brooks could have probably won that fight.
I just rewatched that fight, Blair. I feel like people underrated the body work that Spence was doing. I think when people had him losing the early rounds, he was just setting up the trap. But that brings me into my next question from the New Orleans. J Mac says, Terrence Crawford versus Earl Spence. Who you got and why? Break it down for us.
Man, I got Terrence Crawford against Earl Spence. There's no. Honestly, right now it seems like Earl Spence be running away and trying to shy away from that fight with Terrence Crawford. And I totally understand. Look, both of these guys, both of these guys can't sell a damn thing. Blair Flair will be making way more money than Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence combined in no time. They're just not attractive fighters. Exactly. We don't do shit for Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. There ain't no woo. There's nothing. It's just okay. Yeah, them guys can fight. Yeah. But if you were just a fan that had nothing to do with boxing that much, you couldn't really watch Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford. They don't bring that much excitement into boxing outside of just the skills that they present in that forward corner. But when I look at these two guys, and they're very incredible athletes, I still have Terrence Crawford pulling out a victory just off of the simple fact that he just got that little edge mentally, and he's still a killer. He's still a dog fighter that will go to the end. I see these guys hopefully fighting soon, but I feel like Errol Spence is kind of shying away from that fight.
Well. You done pissed off the Errol Spence
Even though
fans.
there ain't no money in any of that shit. There's no money in Terrence Crawford. There's no money in Errol Spence.
So what do you mean? What do you mean? There's no money in Terrence Crawford? Like
you said the same thing.
He's getting paid a lot of money on ESPN. I think
he's trying to trap you because he literally made the same argument you're making like 2 days ago.
No, there's no money in those guys. First of all, they're dry as hell. You know what I mean? And then second of all, like that whole promotional thing, like you can say he's making money, but I don't see it. He's probably being taken care of as best he can with Top Rank. But when Top Rank puts themselves on an island alone by themselves with a very, very small pool of fighters, it's very hard to even have anything. And then Terrence, who the hell Terrence Crawford been fighting? He haven't really been fighting anybody because of that. And on top of that, he's a very hard ticket to sell. If he doesn't really present anything outside of the fact that he can bop a little bit. You know what I mean? A lot of it. But it's just so hard to deal with boxing nowadays because boxing is not a sport anymore. It's like it's a sport in disguise of what? Entertainment. And you don't need people like Terrence Crawford because Terrence Crawford's not going to bring boxing back. You need people like Blair Flair to bring boxing back. You need people like Blair Flair that can be at the elite level, that can box at the elite level, that can be the best they can, so they can not only excite the fans and give the fans exciting fights and bring on board new fans, but also show these goddamn fans what boxing's all about. You don't want guys like Terrence Crawford, but on the other hand, you don't want people like Logan Paul. You want people that got a little bit of both, and that's what Blair Flair brings to the table. We're talking about bringing boxing to where it truly belongs. And since Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather didn't really materialize to where it should have been, you know what I mean? Because it was 7 years late and things like that. We got to have fighters that can get to the same level as Floyd Mayweather. That's not afraid to take those chances. That's not sitting here saying I'm not sitting here saying that I'm unbeatable. You know what I mean? I'm not pegging myself as Mr. Perfect because I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be great. You know what I mean? Greatness go through adversity. Greatness gets knocked down every once in a while. Greatness is going to lose here and there. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they're going against great opposition. And that's what Blair Flair is all about. You can't bring back boxing without doing all of those things, all of those necessary things. I thought about it a lot.
Beautiful answer, my friend. Beautiful answer. Next one is from Chicago. I'm gonna actually go backwards because you answered the last one, so we'll just give him a shout out and let the Chicago one be the last. So Brandon Lopez says, "Thanks for taking the time to come on the Boxing Voice. I can see how you have the nickname Blair the Flair, but how and who gave you that name? You've already answered that, so now we'll go to Chicago. Steve, who says, woo, you're extremely entertaining fighter. Keep up the great work. Could you tell us a little about your life in Mexico from a boxing perspective?
I was, man, at the very, very beginning, it was nothing but a professional type of mentality. It was a dog eat dog world, literally out there. I sparred on my first day walking into the gym. You know what I mean? I beat one dude, and then I got completely annihilated with the next dude. I'm not afraid to say that I've got my butt whipped because I kept coming back. And got better and better, and I was able to beat the guys that beat me. I sparred on my first day. I had a fight. I had my first fight after 2 weeks of training. I've been involved with some of the most elite fighters in the world today, from all the way back then. Eddie Reynoso was one of the trainers that I actually came to, and that helped me a little bit. Oscar Latios brought me to his gym. You know what I mean? And I trained with Oscar Latios. I trained with some of the top fighters. Marco Antonio Barrera came to the gyms, and I sparred with him. And that was when I had I just had a whole lot of ability. You know what I mean? I didn't have a whole lot of experience or boxing know-how, but I've been amongst some of the best fighters out there. But man, it's been tough. it's definitely a tough world. I've never taken a loss. You know what I mean? Because I was always willing to die in that ring. I've taken to that world there in Mexico, and the people and the mentality that comes from the people in Mexico. So, and tell you the truth, when it comes to boxing, at heart, I'm really a Mexican. They just see all the talent, But what do you get when you have a Mexican heart and the talent of a soulful, incredibly fast black fighter, or mixed fighter, American fighter? You have Blair the Flair. And then you throw some charisma in there and some WWE and some Ric Flair. Woo! And then that's what you got, baby. You got something. You got a real monster on your hand. If you was a promoter right now, you'd be jumping at the opportunity to even work with Blair the Flair. The reason why is because it's what more could you ever ask for? But man, being in Mexico was it was very tough. My whole identity was shook. So I had when I came to boxing with nothing. I didn't even have my name wasn't even Blair. They called me Romero. And I didn't have anything. So I was man, well, I was man, let's die in this ring right now. But that it just never happened. I never died. I just got really, really good, but that's how it was, being mentally messed up from dealing with my past and just the constant start over and not really knowing if I'm going to live or die, because I could die at any moment, somebody can take me out. I'm involved with a lot of dangerous people. I can easily get kidnapped or held for ransom for $1 million. That happens all the time, And the only thing that kept me grounded was boxing. and that's what it was like. It was I was fighting for my life. You know, that's what it was like in Mexico.
Well, Blair, man, we want to thank you for coming on and definitely lighting up the airwaves and making this podcast even more enjoyable. We appreciate your time, man. Hopefully you're correlating this podcast with the same podcast that interviewed you live in Vegas. I think it was for the Jacobs Canelo podcast row. But regardless, please give out your social media. And, yeah, man, thank you once again for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I would love to, chop it up with you guys anytime. Anytime, anywhere, let me know. Again, it's the most exciting man in boxing, Blair the Flair Cobbs. You can check me out live anytime you want with plenty of excitement. BlairTheFlair.com, Blair the Flair, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you name it, we got it with Blair the Flair. And let you know that we are the most exciting boxing world, period. There's nothing more to boxing than Blair the Flair. There's nothing more exciting than Blair the Flair. So please check us out. We got plenty of content for you guys to check out. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Blair.
Blair, man, thank you. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, up-and-coming contender, Blair the Flair. Definitely understands it, man. You know, it's like a breath of fresh air to be able to do an interview with a guy that you don't have to tell him to change his Instagram name from, you know, Romeo2450, the lover, to Blair the Flair Cobbs. You know what I mean? It's refreshing.
Or even tell him to get an Instagram or Twitter like we used to have to tell these guys.
It's refreshing to hear a guy say, like, you know, understand that boxing is a sport that is, you know, really entertainment. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
I love everything that he said. He's so well-spoken, man. He reminds me of Keith Thurman. You know, Thurman came out like that, very well-spoken, you know, knowing what he had to say and the things that excited the fans. You know what I mean? And
you know, that's what...
I'm
sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I just love that he understands that it's entertainment as well as skill, as well as boxing. It's entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. And the point that you were making that all I could think about during the interview was it wasn't until we got 24/7 that we saw Mayweather and the entertainment that he provided. And De La Hoya definitely helped out on the show. But it's that same kind of entertainment. Like, here's the thing. If they don't hate you or if they don't love you, you're doing something wrong. Like, if they don't have any feelings towards you, like they don't care what you do one way or the other, they don't love you, hate you, that they're just kind of neutral, that's where, you know, you're messing up. That's where you're not making the most and utilizing your opportunities. But this man ain't, you know, he ain't doing that. He ain't doing that.
Because he understands entertainment. The man gave you, you know, you can't clip his interview. You have to just put out the entire interview because it's one gigantic soundbite. I mean, from talking about Crawford, I mean, the way that he spoke about it, you know, he just knows what he's doing. And, you know, he's with a good promoter. He's with a good promoter, and you hear him boasting that he's been on some pretty solid undercards, which he has. Ryan Canelo, you know, and he again, he knows, he understands what he's got to do. He comes out with a fur coat, the hearts on the shorts, entertainment first.
The only thing, to be honest with you, is the trademark aspect of it. I hope like he gets to like I mean, I don't know. To me, he could just call it parody because that's what it seems like to me. You know, I and not to say it's like a joke or anything, but you know, parody exists for a bunch of different reasons. So I hope he is able to maintain every part of the brand that he's built thus far.
But what do you envision happening that he, like, why wouldn't it
WWE
continue?
Coming in and saying that's our
Oh, you mean like
from a
you mean like from a legal standpoint?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm sure the woo is trademarked by Ric Flair, and he's.
Yeah,
I mean,
Ric Flair.
I don't know, because Rick Ross got it off.
Yeah, a lot of people get it off. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't see what the issue is. The only thing is like, he does it. When he does it, he does it. You know what I'm saying?
No,
like,
you're right, and that's what he said.
He's got that real swag with
But that's what he said, bro. He said, look, Crawford, Earl, don't nobody say nothing. Even though I can't really say that, because when Earl was popping, everybody was like, he's the truth, the truth, the truth. So you heard the truth thrown out there a lot. Like, that was thrown out there a lot. But look at how many people took the time to write a question for him and led with his brand. That's like when Wilder came out with with Bomb Squad. That's something that's a thing because Wilder invented that and it stuck. And now Blair has adapted the woo, and it's like people respect him, so they lead with that woo, and that's what he's saying. He's like, what the hell does Crawford and Earl bring? Nobody don't do that for them. So I love him, man. He got the swag. He's saying the right things. Now what he needs to do is get these guys' attention. He said him and Crawford going back and forth. He's got to get their attention. He needs to use them to keep propping himself up. You know what I mean? Because if he says he's ready, even though we know this promoter won't let the leash off metaphorically just yet, he needs to start getting those social media beefs cooking, because those things become news, and news becomes social status. Let's get out. Oh, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, make a point. Damn it, I can't remember who it was, but the point I was going to make is that, like, you saw what Wilder was able to do with his brand, and God damn it, what's that battle rapper's name? He said, you merchant, Jim Lampley, you just talk a good fight. Who was that? Damn it, I can't remember who it was. Anyway, he made that song that Deontay Wilder, I'm not even going to call it a Deontay Wilder song, but it was that, you remember that track?
The one after the loss or before?
No, the one before the loss.
I don't know.
It was what's his catchphrase?
Bomb Squad.
To this day.
Oh.
To this day. You don't remember that track, To This Day? It was actually a New York rapper battle rapper
not
that
the actual
put it out.
Not the actual rap. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, the point I was trying to make with that is that see, that's all Wilder. Like, that's all in-house, like, branded type stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he could trademark that stuff. He could prove that he is responsible for it. I would hate to see this happen to Blair, only because what Blair's doing is creating his own wave with that same sort of enthusiasm. You know what I mean? With that same sort of. So, that's the only point I was really trying to make.
Yeah, I just don't know that WWE would come in and do anything because, it's so influential, right? Like, WWE is so influential. So, And they already intermix with boxing, right? You see they've adapted Tyson Fury. They would find that would be the best case scenario for Blair and Golden Boy. That WWE does pay attention and then adapts him, and they do like a Monday Night Raw and invite him, and it's like Ric Flair and then Blair the Flair, and it's like, woo! And his fucking social media blows out the roof.
Just fucking,
that's all because
be
at
great.
the end of the day, look, I'm not saying that it can't be the negative route that you're saying. That's a worst case scenario. But it could also be that they look at it and try to capitalize off it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because again, boxing and wrestling, they always mix.
Yeah, definitely, they do. It was Loaded Lux who I was thinking about.
Man, I definitely didn't watch that. I think I think I did. He's like sitting down through most of the video.
Yeah, it's kind of outside. He's got echoes of Wilder playing in the back. Yo, he's a dope. He's a super good battle rapper though.
Yeah, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the interview with Blair the Flair Cobbs. Remember that the topic of discussion is Dana White and the fact that he's securing a private island for his UFC fights. He's saying fights every week, and he's the only guy out there, promoter, entity, still with a non-canceled April event. Keep that in mind. April UFC is not canceled. So where our big name boxers like Anthony Joshua have postponed, and no more Cinco de Mayo with Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. I mean, Shakur Stevenson's first defense canceled. Name after name canceled, but the UFC somehow finding a way to get it done in April and going a step further, securing an island so they could pump out fights every week. So our question is, should boxing be copying? Should they just jump on board and do the same exact thing and give us content the way that we're starving for it? That's what we're talking about. You know the number to call in. 1-425-569-5241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Lids low, Decatur, Georgia. What's going on, brother? You got the answer you was looking for?
Hey, what's happening? Yes, sir, bro. Hey, shout out to Blair. I like the way that boy talk, man. That's some real shit. I love the challenge of Terrence Crawford, taking on anybody, all that shit, man. Good stuff. Now, my question to you, Ness, by him talking about Terrence Crawford the way he did that do anything for you?
I mean, it definitely put a smile on my face to finally hear somebody, finally hear somebody say something slick and want, like the Terrence Crawford challenge.
Good shit, man. Good. That's great to hear from you, Ness. Yeah, I'm talking about. Shout out to all the Bud fans. Oh, by the way, Dana White doing what he doing at them islands, man, that's fucking fire, bro. That man is I don't know who gave him the idea if he came up with it, but good ass job, bro. And I hope boxing do take up behind him so we can get this shit cracking, man, because everybody's supposedly healthy. So I want to see some shit, you hear me? But appreciate y'all, man. Y'all stay up. I'm out.
All right, Lids Low, Decatur, Georgia. Thanks for calling in. Let's see. We going out to Weber, Oklahoma. Talk to me.
Hey, good morning, Nez. Good morning, Mario.
Morning.
I gotta say, I completely agree with Lidslow. I heard Eddie Hearn was challenging Dana on that, and I think that's because it was Dana's idea and not Eddie Hearn's. Nothing to do with the actual morals or anything like that, in my opinion. Regarding Mario was making Firefest comparisons, but man, that Firefest was supposed to be like 100,000 people or somewhere. I don't know, maybe not 100, but a lot of like thousands. This is like a limited event, like fighters, staff. So it's just a completely different analogy, man. You got to come up with something better. I don't think it's a bad idea. I'm going for it. And a great interview, Blair the Flair. He's fun to watch. He's right, man. He's chaotic in the ring. But that was a cool interview, and keep it up, guys. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in all the way in Oklahoma. We're going out to King, born in Oregon. What's up? Morning.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing today, man? Mario, Loaded Love, Head Ice. You already know the battle rapper thing. Look, that's what we need. We need somebody like Blair the Flair. Get this thing cracking. Get this thing hyped, man. These dudes don't want to talk. You know, if you nice, be nice. Say what you got to say behind backing. Stand by it. You know what I mean? And listen, Bloodsport, Mario, Kumite Allen. Get them on in, and let's get it popping. Like I said, that's what boxing need to do, man. They need to take it to an island and get it going on, man. For real. They need to get this thing going on. That's what they do. They could call it Bloodsport too. They could do the Kumite, whatever they want to do. Put it together. You know what I mean? You got to put it together, y'all, because UFC, he's smart. That's what boxing need. They need somebody innovative. I'm loving Blair the Flair. You know me. Call out everybody in 147. Come on, man. These dudes don't got no life. Let's get it lively.
Born, man. Thanks for calling in. Good morning. Loving the energy. I will say this, man. Even though I'm optimistic and I'm rooting for Dana so that boxing could copy, I mean, we've been waiting for Zuffa Boxing, a.k.a. Dana White's boxing promotional company, to quote-unquote take over boxing forever, and it's hasn't happened.
Not forever. It's been like 2 years.
That's a long time in the boxing world. That's 4 elite level fights for one fighter. You know, Crawford fights twice a year. Earl fights twice a year. Canelo twice. That's a long time. Like, I'm still waiting for him to do his thing. But we're gonna go out to, where's the 404 at?
I don't know. I looked it up and it didn't.
Okay.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
404. If you're a first time caller, say your first time calls. We can play this first time caller intro, and you can introduce yourself to the world and let them know where you're calling from. So, first time caller.
How you doing? My name is Sean Martin, calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Sean Martin, what up? What, the amateur?
Yeah, the amateur, yeah.
What's going on, Sean? I thought we saved that already.
What's going on?
How are you, brother? Good morning.
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm good. Good morning. Good morning. I'm calling to say I love the Dana White doing his stuff with the getting his fight of the island. I wish boxing can do it. It seems like Dana White is always one step ahead of boxing. But the crazy thing about that, boxing can't do it because of the sanctioned bodies. How many good fighters are we gonna get if boxing get on the get a private island? Like, it's impossible. We already talking about
Wait. Back up. You said how many fighters what?
How many fighters going to actually fight if the boxing get on the private island?
What?
Come on, like, all the sanctioned bodies, they not going to really want to fight each other.
But remember, they don't gotta need. They only need one sanctioning body. They only need WBC to sanction it or IBF.
Okay, but how long is this coronavirus going to last? We don't want to see no boring fights.
I hear you, but I don't see how you equating. I don't see how you equating boring. Where you getting that from?
Because if they're going to be on the island, we want to see top-notch fights if nobody can leave the house. We don't want to see no boring fights. If Dana White get the island, you got to think he's not going to be putting no boring fights on. He's going to put fights on every week. How many boxers can we get on the island and fight every week?
I mean, we got hella
every
boxers,
week.
champ. Listen. See, the difference is Dana has the UFC, so he has an unlimited or actually a limited amount, but a big amount. Everyone is under Dana, right? So it's easier for him where it's not the same for Top Rank. They only got their stable. So if they go to an island, they only fighting with their stable. But remember, it don't stop there. They still could go to Thompson Boxing and Lou DiBella and say, yo, can I use Junior Fa to fight Big Baby? We just got to get Junior Fa tested. Oh, well, Junior Fa went back to New Zealand. Perfect. We going to send him to the island because that's international. Like, you got to be optimistic, man. See, this is the only sport I love. So where you see something negative, I'm going to give you a positive right away. I'm going to give you an answer. I'm a Gemini. I got plenty of motherfucking ideas, man. We could get it done if we want to get it done. We going out to Tyson in H-Town. Talk to me. Houston, what up?
All right, what's going on, Nick?
Morning.
It's me. What's going on, Nick? Good morning to y'all, man. Y'all talking about the fights on the island, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. I think it's a cool idea, man. Shit, if they can get it popping, like, why not? Like, shit, I'll pay for it. I mean, 'cause we ain't got nothing else to watch right now, so why not? And if so, you saying, like, if UFC do it, yeah, I'm saying if UFC do it, boxing should do it too. And, I mean, shit, as long as everybody's safe, why not? What was the other question, though?
That's really it, man. I mean, just that's the only question we posing today. I mean, if UFC could get an island and get some fights popping, especially every week, should boxing be doing it? That's the only question, because right now we ain't got no content.
I'm with it, just like you, bro. I'm with it, just like you, bro. I just want to be optimistic about it. Let's see it, bro. That's all, though. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in. Obviously, we got a bunch of callers on the line, so remember, you got to press one time. One time, and you'll be in the queue. That'll let us know that you want to speak and voice your opinion on the Voice of the People hotline, and that's 1-425-569-5241. We're going to go out to our Patreon family over here. We're going out to Trey in the Bay. Boomerang, what's going on? Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. Let me know if my background too loud. Oh man, the fights on the island is really good. I think that'll be great. Mario, I think you thinking about Firefest. That dude was a scammer. Ja Rule was just a face. But that Billy
right.
Gibbs,
yeah.
whatever the dude's name was. Remember, he was scamming and he was trying to poach people out their money and he was lying
That's
to
right. Yeah,
billionaires
he
and
went
all
to
that
jail.
shit.
You're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. See, so that's a whole different situation than Dana White, who got ESPN and his own damn money. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to do all that. He should be able to come up with something. Blair the Flair, man, I hope that boy can fight. I'm finna go watch some of his shit because he sure got a big mouth. I hope he can bag it up too, y'all. That's my first call.
All right, Trey in the Bay. Well, thanks for
Trey in the
calling in.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Actually, and who was it earlier that made the point that it was like a way bigger event? Yeah, that was probably like
that was
piss poor
Israel Weber in Oklahoma.
Israel. That's who it was. Yeah, Izzy said that. Yeah, that was, thinking about it now, it's a piss poor metaphor, but I still, the only comparisons I see is that it gets really chaotic on an island. You know what I mean? Like in an instant, things can go wrong. And that's what I saw in that documentary. But they're absolutely right. That guy was a scam artist, so that's not the same thing at all. And then also, it was meant for a much, much larger crowd. This would be like a skeleton crew. So, yeah, I'll retract that metaphor, and I'm going to try to think of another one.
Mr. Info Joe.
This portion of the show we call In the
Mr.
Know,
Info Joe.
presented by my brother.
Good morning, TBV family. What up, my boxing brothers?
What up, Joe? How's Cali?
Oh, man, it's still storming out here, third week. But great
Damn.
interview, man. I know, man. Don't believe that song, Tony, 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 man. Shit. It never rains in Southern California. Yo, great interview, man. Shout out to Blair, the Flair Cobbs, man. Did I say his name right?
Yeah, Blair the Flair Cobbs.
Hey, man, the dude is dripping in swag juice everywhere, man. That's what we need in boxing, guys like that. Entertaining inside the ring and outside the ring. As far as the island, man, I'm loving it, man. I'm like a crackhead in the 80s, man. I'm going through withdrawals right now, man. I'm fiending for some boxing. If they can get it done, let's do it for boxing. Only question I have is, if you get tested Friday and you go touch some shit Saturday and bring your shit to the island, I don't know. They have to keep tests going like every day. You know what I'm saying? Because you can have it one day and get it the next. You know, if they can pull that off, man, shout out to the boxing gods, man. Mario, quick. RZA versus DJ Premier this weekend. I'm out, fellas.
Oh, that's a good one. Man, I'm going to say DJ Premier right now, like just off the top.
Yeah, man. Even though the RZA is also from New York, but again,
yeah, that's true.
He's from Staten, man. I just feel like Premier had more variety. You know, he worked with way more artists. Maybe I'm wrong on the work with way more artists too, because RZA, wasn't he a producer too at the end of it?
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I don't really know his backlog of who he made beats for, but back in the day when DJ Premier was in his prime, man, he made beats for everybody. He was like, you know, being a Premier or a Clue, not Clue, but what's the other dude that ended up on Def Jam as the DJ for Def Jam? Light-skinned dude.
Oh, light skin? Never mind.
What? Come on,
I don't
bro.
know who you're talking about.
Maybe that is Premier. I bet you Joe gonna tell us.
Yeah, I think you're thinking about Premier.
Probably. Is he light skinned? I'm all off it. But let me get out to.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style. I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from parents.
It can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet? You bet 100,000 on that. Let's bet $1 million. Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Yo, good morning.
Good morning, J Mac in the New Orleans.
Hey, pretty interesting interview. Just had to go look at some of the guy highlights. Definitely got a good promotion about on him. Looking at him, I want to see him get past a Rashidi Ellis and definitely Boots and stuff like that, because he may not even be able to make it nowhere close to Terrence Crawford. I did like his confidence. It was kind of funny saying Bud in the same sentence, saying Bud ain't got no talent, but he's the best in the weight division. He just work hard, but he got the skills. It needs somebody aqua to beat him and all that. All that shit, I already know that and stuff like that. But it was funny listening to his breakdown, and I know it's funny him agreeing with you on personality and all that stuff like that. Like I'm looking forward to him. If the dude gonna be a big name in the sport, like I said, I want to see him get past fighters like that. I got Boots beating him. I don't think he won't come nowhere close.
Yeah, I mean, look, I wish he was further along in his career so I could definitely talk more junk. But you're right, he needs that fight. He still need that fight. Like, he doesn't even have like a Collazo on it. He hasn't fought a former world champ yet, right? Nah. So you see, he's still like he told you that. He's still developing and they still working. He just confident. He doing what he gotta do.
And he's a fun fighter, though. You know what I mean? Like I won't say all his fights.
Keeping that buzz.
He's come back from knockdowns, and I mean, he's had some exciting fights. Every time he's in there, it's I don't know. It just feels like.
But you gotta understand, the Bud Crawford fans are gonna see what you call exciting. They call flaws. You know what I mean?
Well, but it is flaws to a degree. But they're flaws that can be advantageous to him and entertaining to us.
Well, let's go out to another boomerang out of. He's out of Atlanta. I just don't remember if I mess up here. He got so many. That's what I'm telling you. My man, I think it's this one. Let me see. Yep.
Hell no. He mad because I get the better fights. He mad because they still like me more. He mad because I got better numbers. He mad because he can't beat Keith Thurman. That's why he mad. Hell no.
So once when I get on that stage and I come at you, better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son. I'm telling you.
What's good? What's good?
What up? Intrigue in Atlanta.
Yeah, man. Good interview, man. That dude right there, man, he's a character. You know what I mean? Him and Keith Thurman, that'll be a good tune-up for Thurman, man. That press conference would be stupid.
That would be entertaining. The thing is, they look a lot alike.
Yeah. They do. And he talked like him. Like, the only thing, he just can't fight like Keith. But, like, I agree with Jay, man. He get in with somebody like Boots, tear him up. But, man, he got a mouthpiece, so hopefully he'll get a good check. You know what I mean? Get a big fight and be able to sell it and get a nice check. But that's all I got to say.
Well, Blair the Flair is definitely still listening and hearing everyone's comments. So shout out to Blair, you know what I mean? Sticking around and hear what the people had to say. Hate it or love it, man. He on top.
Hey, I respect that. You know why? Because that Crawford answer he gave, that was basically with the listeners that we got, that was like farting in an elevator and just splitting.
Hell yeah!
But he stuck around. So
I told him that our listeners, a lot of them are bartenders, so yeah, that was definitely going to irk them a little bit. But let's go out to Detroit.
Red belt, black belt, WO and green. I'm king. Undisputed GOAT, TBE. And you can catch the news first on TBV. Voice of the people now let me speak. Scientists of the sweet, BOXING.
Damn, that thing be rocking right there.
Oh, I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, man, don't tell me you working, Stainless. I hate playing intros and they be sleep.
Or is he playing my games with me?
Nah, he's definitely at work. All right, so.
All right, well, I hope he's ready for tomorrow because I'm going to be ready for tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm going to go double it up. Like I said, we got Boomerang. So, Trey, second call, what's up?
Hey, my background loud. Come back to me.
J-Mac, what up? All right.
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you say he still got the ear and stuff like that. Like I said, I see what I needed to see. he looked like he got the chance to be a good fighter, but I do question with that welterweight being as heavy as it is and stuff. But what I've seen in him is he got a lot more to do. Like before he could mention, I was impressed with his breakdown on Spence, because Spence, and he knew the levels and the difference of it. But I don't see enough skill set in himself to separate him to be in the mentions of a Terrence Crawford. Like for him to say somebody not talented, and like I was expecting to see more. I'm curious to see how he do against like a Rashidi Ellis at this point, because I think Boost is a little higher than him, and I'm gonna be looking for his name, and I definitely want that mouth and that talent to start equaling it out and stuff like that. That's my call.
You know, he's with Golden Boy, so what would be good before Rashidi Ellis, who's way ahead of him. Rashidi has like 20-something fights. Should be who Rashidi beat twice, Eddie Gomez. Eddie Gomez beat Daquan Arnett, and Rashidi Ellis beat Eddie Gomez twice, once by knockout, once by decision. That would be a good fight. Is 518 Antonio?
Yes.
Antonio, what up? Talk to us.
What's going on, man? Yo, first off, man, I gotta tell you, man, I had to get rid of Patreon, man. I got laid off, you know, wait for this unemployment to kick in and shit. But as soon as I get back up, man, I'm going back to Patreon, man. Just wanted to point that out real quick. And real quick, I know what's the dude named Flair listening. This is just my opinion, man. He could take it the way he wants, but I see him as an Adrian Broner right now until further notice. You know what I mean? So he just got to prove it to me, you know, and fight some of these top dogs, you know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy how you're going to downplay Crawford and Errol Spence, talking about they can't sell, especially Errol Spence, man. He been selling, especially on pay-per-view. So I just don't get what he said or that shit. I think it's going to hurt him in the long run, but, you know, we'll see about that. And as far as the island fights, you know, I think it's a good idea, but, you know, I still got that behind my head, you know, if boxers are going to, you know, actually get to that level. You know, I'm just hoping this whole pandemic shit, you know, goes away soon, man. Hopefully, man, I'm hoping. Hopefully, we'll still get a Wilder and a Fury this fall.
Mario, you think it hurts him? Blair, what he said? That's what Antonio is insinuating?
I don't think it hurts him. I think it helps him. I remember very clear what Adrian Broner was when he first came on. He was exciting and people thought he was really talented and he had skill. And then he started to talk and he was like, I'm the can man. Anybody can get it. And it was like, whoa, that's crazy right there. Like that right there, I'm not going to say made him, but it put him on this like level where it was like, yo, he's somebody to watch. And so I feel like it could be the same thing for Blair. Like whether the talent's there or not, the understanding of what he's doing is fully there. He is in complete control of what he's saying and what he's doing. And so, you know, and at the end of the day, if he ended up with an Adrian Broner career, making all of that money based on, you know, his ability to talk himself into a fight, that'd be great. And 4-time champion. Exactly. So that's a
Big
really
fights.
high bar to set.
And listen, I respect Broner, you know, in the ring. Like I said, you know, his fight with Maidana, I can't wait for someone to pick that as his Film Study Tuesday. I haven't seen that in so long. I think that was a fantastic fight. The better Porter gets, the better Broner's knockdown of Porter looks, you know, and especially now with Earl knocking down Porter, it's like, yo, only the truly elite, right? Because Brooke didn't even knock down Porter, you know what I mean? But, we're going to go back out to Boomerang Intrigue in Atlanta. What up?
Hey, you can give it the info.
Info Joe, what up?
Oh, what up, champs? Oh man, I ain't got much, man. Thanks for the boomerang, bro. I wish it was something I can keep spilling on, but everybody have a blessed, no stress day. Stay safe, man.
I got you. Hey, Joe, I got you. So you asked me who is going to win RZA Premier. I'm asking you who's going to win tomorrow, Stainless or Mario?
Ooh.
Oh, man. That's man. I think Stainless, man, passed the bar exam, man.
Definitely.
Let's see if you got some star bars tomorrow, man. How many rounds y'all going?
I got enough for a little bit. If he wanted to take it a couple, 2 or 3, that's fine with me. But I could just do 100 bars and running too. So.
Ooh, boy's been writing. The boy's been writing. Listen, ladies and gents, Stainless, you haven't called. I mean, you haven't said anything. I even text you, so you must be busy at work. We got to all our callers. Want to thank everybody that tuned in. Don't forget, we're back live tonight. We got Gabriel Rosado and Brandon Lee at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Gabe Rosado, which is 8 o'clock Eastern. And we got Brandon Lee at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is 8:30 Eastern. So join us tonight for our flagship edition of The Boxing Voice. And yeah, man, come rock out. Up. Now we getting a few callers. Now we getting a few. You got one over there on Blog Talk, and I got JT that just jumped on the line. I'm hoping you've been listening, JT, because I'm going right out to you, man. So let's see.
So interesting that you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. Come on. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it? I'll kill this mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yeah, what's up, Ness? I just jumped on the line, so I don't know shit.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, so
Well, we are talking Dana White securing a private island for UFC fights. He's saying he's going to pump out fights every week. So we're saying, should boxing copy? Should boxing follow suit? Should we get an island and put out some fights and you know, find a way to get our fans some content?
that's a good idea, but ain't that's gonna be a lot of money just to tie into pulling that island. Then it's gonna be the purse bid. Then you gonna still have the A or B side. And then what about the fans? The people on that island gonna be on it?
I mean, what if it's just Top Rank? Like if because you see, UFC got that upper hand on us that they don't need to work with nobody because they are everybody. But I mean,
Right,
Top Rank
right.
got enough fighters, and you know they could still reach out to Lou. We thinking like now that the testing results are coming back quicker and there's more tests available, you know, maybe these guys could get tested before they get to the island. Before training camp, you know, only fight with fighters that have been tested. Since the whole NBA got tested, why can't the, you know, boxing for one promoter get tested?
Well, absolutely, I agree with you on that, Ness. I mean, if it's something, it'd be entertaining, but I'm assuming we're gonna just be watching as fans on a channel, right?
Yeah.
We ain't gonna.
Yeah, because listen, think about it like this. This is not just all speculation. Like the UFC card in April hasn't been canceled. All our big fights are canceled. Everything, even Canelo, Cinco de Mayo, canceled. AJ, canceled. How the hell is UFC still not canceled? So they know something we don't, and they doing something we not.
Right. Well, boxing need to get ahead of the game. I mean, because that was the prime sport before UFC came, but they still making their moves. So yeah, I agree. We could do the same thing just for some entertainment. But I just think it'd be a different vibe if you at a big fight and you don't have no fans. Like fighters kind of, you know, adapt to fans and the crowd. It'd just be like a big sparring match to me.
All right, champ. Well, let me see who's this. I think that's Trey in the Bay coming back to you. What's up?
Yeah, y'all gotta let me know about that background. I'm having background issues today. On the island shit, if they can map it out correctly, that'll be all right. I guess they'd have to have some doctors and some staff around too, in a standby flight to emergency get people out of there. Because I mean, if somebody gets sick, you know that shit could go crazy. But what else I had? I think. Was that other interview supposed to be on today? You just only had the one?
Tonight, we got Rosado and Brandon Lee.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we got boxing got a lot of complications too, right? They make shit complicated over here on the mainland, let alone them taking it to an island. But maybe somebody need to just sit down with Dana White and find out what they could do, because Dana lightweight macking this shit. And really, man, UFC sells crazy pay-per-views as well. You know, And the casual fans know a lot about UFC, Mario. I remember earlier this morning. Yet, like the casual fans ain't really that dumb, y'all. They they know a little bit more about UFC than boxing casual fans.
New York City, I think Harlem, right? Getty, what up?
Yeah, Harlem.
Man, how you living?
Oh man, we good, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Nah, most certainly, man. Most certainly, man. And good morning to everybody. Just to chime in, yeah, I think that UFC to the island is on some into the dragon type of move. And I think that's a good idea, but I also don't think that that's a reason. I mean, that's a cause because of the coronavirus. I really think Dana Ben had this in the bag or whatever, because UFC has that advantage to a lot of flexibility to move how they want to move, because like how you mentioned, everybody, they're their own entity. But it would be cool to see boxing get into that type of feel, a little tournament type of feel where everybody say, yo, y'all, I like the top ranked fighters, I like the PBC fighters without Heyman and all them. So it could do some damage, but we'll see, man. But that's my call. And Blair seemed like he gonna be entertaining or whatever his style. I'm not calling him that, but it seems to be like a little of Andre a little bit, But I don't mean to compare him to anybody, because if you're listening, that's just my 2 cents towards the bill. But salute, respect, and shout out to TBV, man. That's my call.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Getty, and everyone listening. We might have Tevin Farmer tomorrow, man. We filling up that schedule. We might get Tevin in the morning. Looks like we got a couple of callers jumped on with us. It's gonna be Majimbe. What up? Good morning.
Good morning.
Where are you calling from?
Edison.
Oh, you in Jersey? Okay.
Yeah. So in regards to UFC doing the island fights in the island, you got to realize that they have a lot more resources than a Top Rank, Eddie Hearn, any of these other promoters, because they're backed by CAA agency, or they're owned by CAA, and they also have Disney and ESPN. Granted, Top Rank has ESPN too, but it's more of contractual, kind of like, I think Bob said it, they pay to be on ESPN. ESPN doesn't pay them. So it's a little bit different than, I don't know if, are these promoters going to be able to have doctors, and what about if somebody gets sick with the coronavirus over there? Are they going to be able to bring them back to the States, or are they going to be held off? So I don't know. I think UFC is also playing with fire just doing that. So I don't know, brother. I think it's a great idea, but I think it's also dangerous. So those are my 2 cents.
All right.
I agree. I think it's a little dangerous right now. I mean, if it worked out, it worked out perfect. And I love that Into the Dragon reference. So it's like Bloodsport, Into the Dragon, like all those like movies where it's like something dramatic like this happens and people fight. That's just dope. But as great an idea it is, it might not be the smartest idea in terms of all the potential risks.
I mean, we just need a chopper. Landing pad, chopper flies in, he's out. If there's, and again, we're dealing with people that are coronavirus free, tested. So, how is someone going to get sick? I know that's a worst case scenario that we got to at least account for, but I hear him though. I hear him, from a safety standpoint, it might get red flagged. Let's see. We got Sid in Orlando. Talk to me. Just listening, Sid. Going once, twice. Stone Bone Boxing, Colorado. Good morning.
What up? Hey, ESPN they buy from all of them guys. They buy content from Top Rank. They buy from UFC. They buy from whoever Bob Arum say we dealing with to make a fight happen this week. So it's not as if he paying for that. We already seen PBC buy TV time before. You know what I mean? It worked out because it would. That's what gave us the big Danny versus Keith fight. You know what I mean? With the what was that, like 4 million, 5 million rating, something like that. So that was a success. So I believe it can work. You know what I mean, I don't know if it's a good idea for boxing. The thing about UFC is they already do a fight every weekend anyway, and then do a pay-per-view every month. So it kind of fit into their thing. Boxing is like we do a fight every 6 weeks. So I mean, it's not all together. It ain't like PBC and Top Rank both saying, "Hey, let's get an island and do this together." So Top Rank could probably do something like that just because they doing that anyway, just fighting their own fighters already, and they creating. They got big fights they could do it with. So I don't think PBC would want to risk it. They looking at Fox and stuff like that. But Fox did just do the WWE thing right in the studio, right? Wasn't that on Fox? Where they shot it in the studio, the wrestling show?
Yeah, it's been on Fox. Yep, and USA.
Yeah, because they just did one like in a studio, so I can see it happening. But some guys might be mad if their favorite fighter end up on an island fighting. You know what I mean? And some disadvantages and shit. You'd be like, man, you might not like it, but it might be good for the sport. But if it ain't gonna be over till October, November, December or something, you know what I mean? I'm willing to wait till like late July and August to start having fights. I don't want them to go to the island and then find some niche where they can make all this money without us and then just say fuck it and super surf us and just start doing it on the island and not. So that can be a problem. You get somebody an avenue like that and they might take advantage of it and start saying, we don't need no security, we don't need no fans, we don't need to pay nothing for no venue. We can just throw these guys in here and make them fight, get them a purse, and collect a TV check. So we might be on to something that's going to be dangerous for the fighters in the long run. I know UFC already do it anyway. They don't pay them guys nothing. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like the one dude said he fought those big old fights, pay-per-view, millions, 2-3 million. He made 1.7. What's his name? Tito Ortiz? Or whatever. He was on Vlad TV talking about he only got like $1 million to fight some of the biggest UFC fights ever. I was like, wow. And he a little salty, but we'll see, man. If we can get some fights, go ahead and see what UFC do. If it works, we might could do it for boxing. I'll holler at y'all later.
That's how I see it, man. That's how I see it. If they do it, we need to follow suit. You know what I mean? If they don't do it, we need to see how can we do it and get it done safely. You know what I mean? The idea is there. Now, whether or not it comes into play, we'll see. But let me see. Looks like I think it's just my Jinbe on the boomerang. You're the last up.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still think it's dangerous. But yeah, I mean, if we're gonna wait till October, I think you got to do what you got to do. You got to the show must go on. But I mean, if they do it, I think they're gonna have to come out with a big fight because if you look at the UFC fight, the card it's stacked. It's stacked, top to bottom.
Yeah, but they could do that. They could do that. Why can't they do Loma Teofimo? That's in-house. That's already pay-per-view. That ain't hard. They got Edgar Berlanga. They got Jeremy Adorno. That's 2 more undefeated prospects. Now it's like a triple header right there. Like, bro, you guys are not thinking
that's
deep
they're leaving
enough.
so much money on the table doing that.
How? What? Ticket sales?
Yeah.
Brother, don't you understand it? In this day and age, right now what's going on, content is king. So what's going to happen is that they'll supplement that income from a sponsorship that wants to get on board. Everyone is home. So it's easier to get sponsors. Television ratings are up.
Yes, but nobody wants to see prospects. I mean, if you look at that UFC card, it's not prospects. It's all contenders. And that's the thing. Boxing doesn't do that. Like if they really wanna grab people's attention now that now that everybody's home, give us a great card. At least 3 good fights.
You bugging, champ. You bugging. We buying Teofimo Lopez, and I gotta obviously let you go. We buying Teofimo Lopez regardless. We buying that regardless. Ain't nobody talking about no undercard for that. We talking about, why is Vasil saying he don't want to fight in New York? We buying that regardless. So they don't need an undercard. All they got to do is keep the overhead down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what y'all talking about. We was going to buy that regardless. So why do they got to give you a better fight now? No, they going to put their undefeated prospects on there and move them. You get if you top rank and you're doing a show on the island, you put on Lopez versus Vasil Lomachenko.
That's crazy.
Co-main event, Edgar Berlanga, 13-0, 160-pounder. You get him a decent name, nothing too sexy. Maybe a Jesus Soto Caras at this time. You know, never fought at 160. Biggest probably 154. Maybe even a Humberto Soto. You know, under Berlanga, you put Adorno, Joseph, the one that just had the draw. He's 13-0. He's 11-0, something like that. 13 KOs, 7 KOs, something like that. Under him, you put Sonny Canto, another like 6-0 heavyweight. All your young champs, you know. Then you even put Jeremy Adorno. He's like 4-0. You know, you keep going down the line. But bro, you kidding me? That's the card right there. The reason you put the prospects is because the pay-per-view has to pay you in abundance and your fighters. The prospects, you handle that on your own. That's why. If you start stacking a card and you already cutting yourself with no ticket sales, like I said before, the sponsorship has to be correct to supplement those ticket sales. But by putting on a fantastic co-main event, that's when you're losing money. You banking on the main event, which was always going to be pay-per-view. The prospects, you just moving them along. You doing your due diligence as a promoter and a manager, keeping them busy. I mean, I don't see the problem in that, bro. I'm telling you, I can see this working. If someone really wants to get it done, they can get it done, in my opinion. But
here's the thing. I'm obviously not against it. I want to see boxing on any level, you know, in any way. All I'm saying is, do I think it's realistic? No, based on the things that we've already said, you know. And fights like Lomachenko and Teofimo or I don't know who else. Let's just whatever. Fights of those magnitude, like, do we even want to see those fights with no crowds and the ambiance stripped away of those fights? Like, I don't know. I mean, if we're gonna get cards like that, I mean, I would take almost anybody, really. A competitive fight would be great, but of that magnitude, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like yet. You know, WrestleMania. I mean,
you actually
fun.
do know. Well, tell me what that looked like, because WrestleMania I didn't watch, but that obviously had 0 fans.
WrestleMania was fun, but let me tell you what the funnest things were. They were the things that they taped outside of the arena, things that were already, because they taped everything, right? But they had matches inside the arena studio, but they had 2 matches that they filmed kind of like movies. Those were the funnest things of it. So it's been different. Like, I enjoy wrestling. I love wrestling, but the pop of the crowd is something that cannot be replaced. And if you are a fan of boxing or MMA, you know what I'm talking about. You know, when somebody gets jawed and that crowd just lights up, it's infectious. It comes through the TV screens and through the speakers, and it infects you, and it infects everyone you're with. And to give that up, you know, WWE even considered pumping in fake audience throughout the night. Now, thank God they didn't, because I think that would have been weird. But I mean, who knows? It could have added to the ambience, because that's what I feel like is missing. So fights of those magnitude, I don't know. I don't think we should panic. You know, if in another year we're here, sure, let's start talking about, you know, Canelo fighting in a ringless, a fanless arena. Sure, let's start talking about, you know, Gervonta and Ryan Garcia happening there or whatever in a fanless arena. But until this has gone on long enough where that's our only option, I don't think we should just start jumping the gun and having major promotions just because there's nothing else on. We'll obviously, as fight fans, watch a lot. You know, we watch Friday night fights at the end, so we'll watch whatever they show.
We should have done better research, because we should have Googled the amount of viewers on Homeland yesterday or Sunday. The amount of.
But that's different, though.
No, brother. I'm telling you, the fact that people are home is a privilege to the networks.
Of course, but that
think about how much you know how much food is being sold right now? Takeout isn't done. They've hired thousands of new Instacarters to go shopping for you, and new Uber drivers to deliver for you. What are you talking about? And I don't follow politics. This is the little bit of the news that I'm watching because my girl puts this shit on every day. No one is sleeping during this time. The ones that are sleeping are the ones that are gonna fail. Businesses are finding, you know what the medical field is doing to charge you? They can't bring you into the office, so guess what they're doing? FaceTime phone visits. They're finding a way to charge you anyway for a consultation, bro. I'm telling you, you guys are fucking sleeping. Like, you think a business is gonna sit on their hands and let some virus just take away whatever they've been working for? No, I still get up every day and do this motherfucking show. It ain't stopped for me. And I'm on a little level. Imagine the millions that ain't letting it stop. They're not letting it stop.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing that it should come back or we should have fanless fights. Not at all. All I'm saying is that we should reserve those for what's next on the docket and not necessarily make
but you think in small time. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You'll never find another time where I'm
thinking realistic.
No, you're not thinking of this particular piece. When else are you going to have this high of a percentage of people in their house? Tell me, Mario, this is unprecedented. You take advantage. They have literally made you come home and be home by a certain time. So who's gaining? Advertisement. Advertisement is gaining.
But you're looking at it as people at home equal dollars.
It
We're
does.
Also in a major economic decline,
brother.
Major economic decline. Look, homeboy just got rid of his Patreon. They're gonna start getting rid of people. Are getting rid of cable.
Listen. Don't make me go there. Don't make me go there.
Get rid of all that.
Don't make me go there because
it's that just people sitting at home automatically answers all the economics of it all, because it doesn't. ESPN would enjoy a great bump in ratings, but to what end? Because this is the fight business, and the business of making money is part of it.
If you think that ESPN only likes ratings, brother, it's not. The ratings equal how many advertisements they sell during that time slot. That's what I'm talking about. And right now, numbers
that nobody's buying. Yeah,
brother. Oh my God, you're so. Oh my God. I guess it's because
you understand that the economics of this.
Let me just get this out, right?
People can't afford.
Maybe this is easy for me because I'm a dude that goes to sleep at 10, wakes up at 3. I'm constantly looking at numbers. I'm constantly reading about my niche sport. I'm constantly trying to stay on whatever's the next wave to make us grow. And I guess because I'm looking at it from that standpoint, I can see the business in this. You are not thinking, you're saying, oh, we're in a depression, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, there's handouts left and right. Handouts left and right. For small businesses, there's SBA loans. For people that have 500 or less employees, people who are freelancers, sole proprietors, individuals, you can apply for that loan. For your mortgage, most mortgage companies, is a new law that came out. It's called the CARE Act. Look it up. Most mortgages are being forgiven, not forbearance, forgiven for 3 months. No negative report. Let me finish. You made your point, which was weak. Okay?
This point has nothing to do with it.
Of course, this has everything to do with it because you keep saying that no one has money, right? Meanwhile, the government is pumping money into the people.
They're not. No, they're not. What the
let
fuck
me
are
finish.
You talking about? You sound crazy
write it
right
down.
now.
Write it down and debate me. Write it down and debate me. It's all good. These are my points. Write it down. Okay. So he's saying that there's no money. I don't know. I got Cash App. I don't know. Look up some of the food stock that they got and see how much they've gone down or up, because I see food being played on my commercials every single day. I know that I'm ordering. Are you ordering, or is your girl cooking every single day? Or when are you getting tired of home food? Tell me that you're not falling victim to the commercials. Stop the lying. Stop the lying. You think Fashion Nova stopped emailing people? Nothing has changed, bro. Amazon hired how many new people? Like right now, delivery is popping. JT ain't stopped working. Supermex can't even call in because he can't live out the truck. They still trucking. Doggy, the people that can work are working. You are sleeping. You sleeping.
You probably need to pay a little more attention when your girl turns on the TV. Okay, so here are some numbers. 96% of America with jobs has been ordered some stay-at-home into some stay-at-home act or order to some degree. That's only going to grow and get worse.
What percentage of that?
They're going to get worse and worse.
What percentage?
Okay. 96%.
And that means that 96% of Americans are home to watch television.
But that also means that the money that you're talking about, the influx, is it going to help not to pay a car payment for a couple months? Sure. But
and a mortgage,
at some point,
and a credit card.
But you understand that most Americans aren't going to just buy a pay-per-view with that. Most Americans are going to be saving that.
Maybe.
Okay, so that's one thing. Second of all, I can tell you that you used very specific examples. So then I'll use specific examples. So you're going to tell me nothing has changed. Well, you could fly down to Corpus and talk to the 3 people that my dad hired for the house next door that lost their job, that were getting paid upwards for 65 to 100,000 a year, and they're just done. They're done. So I and those are fight fans, by the way, too, people that I know very well. America is in a very fragile place right now. Okay. And nobody wants to come out and say it. Well, a lot of people are saying it, but nobody wants to really admit that this is only going to get worse. And maybe it doesn't. But the idea in a person's mind that they're going to use that 3 months of no mortgage, 3 months of house payments to just chill, it's just not going to happen. These people are putting that money away. The economics of this all. Look, and that's the
absolutely,
other thing. Like,
Mario. But do you really think that people are going to not spend on entertainment or leisure for 90 days just because they're in a crisis?
Yeah, I think that they're much more worried about.
Bro,
college,
even David
their
Ramsey.
Kids. I think they're much more worried about eating. I think they're much more worried about where are they going to be in a few months, because after those 3 months are over, and if we're still in this situation, are you going to get another 3 months of forgiveness? You know, because $1,200 only goes so far for people, and some people aren't used to that. You know, we haven't even received the money, the influx of money that we're supposed to get. You know, we don't even know what that's going to do to the economy. Just listen, do me a favor, and you look at what's going on across the board, because you can come up with specific examples, but at the end of the day, these guys know that it's going to get very, very down and dirty when it comes to how people are going to spend their money. And that's going to affect advertising revenue. That's going to affect what you decide to invest in ultimately. And that's going to affect
Listen, we're thinking 2 different business models, or rather we're debating 2 different and never distinguish one. If we're talking pay-per-view, then, you know, maybe your sob story works and no one's going to spend.
It's not a sob story. It's just the truth.
Bro, I just don't see that. I don't see no one staying home for 90 days and not putting away no money for leisure, for pleasure.
Well, you know what?
You're going to put your family through prison.
Saying it's going to happen in that time? Suicide rate goes up. Bro, people start beating.
You're going to
their kids and wives.
Exactly, because
all
they
that bad
thinking
shit happens,
because they thinking like you, small time instead of allotting. Okay, David Ramsey is a pro at finances and helping people, you know, reduce debt and manage finance. And it's like, bro, a lot for the fucking pleasure. Don't just let it pop up. Don't just let it be a craving and all of a sudden you spend $100 that you didn't calculate. You know, calculate.
But you're not understanding. Listen, I'm okay. That's the thing, is I'm okay right now.
But
I'm
you're
good.
also
I'm thinking about the millions upon millions of Americans out there that make up the fight fandom, the MMA fandom, the baseball, basketball fandom, all those people who aren't in the situation that I'm in, who didn't work from home from the beginning. I hate to say this because this sounds so fucked up, but I'm just gonna be honest. I've actually gotten more work since this started. I've actually had, from the show to editing to freelance. I've turned down work because of the show and other editing stuff. Like, I don't have the time to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it feels fucking gross. Honestly, it feels gross. And I know I'm not trying to be like a martyr or anything, but it's just weird that every day I see people struggling and dying and not being able to live normal lives that we are accustomed to in America. And yet nothing really has changed for me, to be honest with you. I was always a homebody. I always stayed home. If I went to the movies or the gym, that was it.
Yeah.
That's where you caught me. That was it. So I don't know, man. I hope they do. I hope they do it. I hope they follow the model that you're presenting.
I just
want
know
you to be right.
I'm
See, that's the
watching
thing that you gotta
TV,
understand.
bro. I'm watching
right.
TV. My girl, they gave her like 3 days home. She got to go to work 2 days out of the week now. You know what I mean? We're watching television, brother. Like, again, you're talking two different models. All right, if the promoter's as, I don't know, reluctant as you, right? Maybe they won't do a pay-per-view, but they still got ad revenue from, like you said, 97 million people watching. And it don't come from the people. Hold on. It don't come from the people. It comes from McDonald's that wants to air that commercial, from Coca-Cola who wants to air that commercial.
But you understand that those companies spend money based on the economy. Their ad revenue is based on how we as America
But
are
Mario,
doing.
for you to assume that Americans are home and not ordering out is insane to me. Insane.
Okay,
They
but I
literally
don't
have
understand what you mean,
because
ordering
the
out. What are you
numbers,
talking about?
the
Ordering
numbers have gone up. They literally had to hire more Amazon workers, more Instacart workers, more Uber. There's a spike in Uber app drivers.
But what does that have to do with
or
your
Uber
point?
Eats.
You're talking about food and you're talking about necessities.
Advertisement. Who you think is buying the fucking food? The fat Americans staying home. What are you
I don't
talking
know, man.
about?
I don't see Charmin commercials on ESPN very much, but maybe you're right.
But
Again,
who's
and I want you
watching
to be right.
ESPN? Who's watching ESPN?
I'm just saying, you're talking about ad revenue. That's one ad revenue.
Okay,
but look, I need you to understand, though, that there's a difference between Netflix and Amazon, who plan to release certain content throughout a few months and end up releasing it early. That's an easy thing to do. But to provide us with a live event in a pandemic situation with a skeleton crew, you listen. You've covered probably triple the amount of fights, if probably more than that.
It
I
ain't
have.
even that
You know how
important
many-
to me,
you know
man.
how
I'm
many
just
people
saying,
it takes.
I don't
Wait,
think
you know
it's
how many
that
people it
big
takes
a
to put
deal.
on a fight. Imagine doing it with 5% of the people you've seen that it takes to put on a fight. It's just going to get harder and harder. So I don't know. I just can't say for sure that it's a great economic investment for these people. Is it a great leisurely investment for me? Sure. But, I just can't think in those terms. I can't think in the terms of what do I want versus what do we need.
I hear you, bro. I hear you, man. I don't know. I know I'm watching TV and I'm seeing nonstop food. Nonstop food. Nonstop food. And I'm just being honest. I turn to
You're
my
still
girl.
ordering though? Food?
I
thought you said you were gonna stop.
I was gonna stop. I
It's
was
too
gonna
hard,
stop.
right?
It's too hard.
It's just too fucking easy.
It's too hard, brother.
You
It's
want
too
that
hard.
Whataburger,
Listen,
it's like, damn, do I wanna go get it?
everything is closed except for food.
Takeout, yeah.
Food. Everyone went from restaurant to takeout, pickup.
I can't.
They've painted spots 6 feet apart for lines.
Yep. Yeah.
It's not gonna stop. I've been watching a stock on Coca-Cola, and they only dropped 1 point, bro. 1 point. So it's like I'm telling you, man. Food ain't dropping. Food is here to stay. You know. Look, Nike is up 1.9%, 1.93%, because we're home. You know how many times I catch my girl looking at shit on the phone to shop. You know, what do you call it? Internet surfing or shopping, whatever. Without putting shit in the cart. Eventually it's going to go in the cart. Look, General Electric is up. Why do you think it's up? Because motherfucking Americans are home using more electricity.
What is it? Oh,
General
Motors,
Electric.
sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
electric.
General Electric.
Yeah, because
Electric,
we're
I'm sorry.
home more. We're home more. It's 8 hours more of consumption.
Man, bro, listen, I know you. I know you're a good dude with a big heart.
Coke-
so I know that when you're
Coca-Cola's
talking
up.
about,
almost 3.5 points, bruh.
listen, no, but you understand
Ask
why,
me how
right?
many 2
It's
liters I've
because
bought.
you understand it's because the stocks hit such a low.
No, it's
that
because
there's
they
only one
know
way to
Americans are taking shit off the shelves because they're scared. Americans are so scared. They lining up by the dozens that the line is outside the supermarket, bro. You don't get it, man. But it's all right. I'm not going to argue this shit all day. I just know that you ain't doing the food shopping. That's why you talking like that. There's nothing
I'm
on the
not doing
shelf.
food shopping.
So
I'm
have a
not doing the food
conversation.
shop, but-
Have a
but
conversation
also,
with your girl.
Let me tell
have
you,
one.
my girl won't allow me to even order favor Uber Eats anymore. Spending $200, $300 for 2 weeks at the store. You know what I'm saying? She won't even let me do that shit no more.
Yo,
So,
look,
all I'm
Walmart.
saying is that
Walmart is down 0.3.
But
No,
look at
it
where
just,
those
it
stocks
just
are.
went up. It just
Look at where those
literally went
stocks are.
up.
Okay, but look at where those stocks are, and why don't you Google where they were at the end of last quarter?
Bro, I don't got to do
And then
that.
see
All I
where
got to
you
do is put month, and show you the graph that there's no big change and there's no dip. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay, but as a whole, you're looking at a specific company.
put the
and by the way, that's the
month.
company that's
I put the month. This just happened. I'm putting food companies because I know food is in demand. It's in demand. You don't want to believe it. It's all right.
Yeah, look, I understand the correlation you're making. I just
look at
I don't
Apple.
know,
They
the
dropped.
resources-
Apple
the
dropped
resources
so
that go
much. Disney, look at that. Disney's up almost 5 points. Why? Because we home. How many people subscribe to Hulu 3-way package to get that Disney Plus now? Because they kids can't go to work. Hey, kids can't go to work and they need to put some fucking Marvel in their hands to keep them busy. But Mario talking about no. Whatever.
Bro, you're missing my point. Ultimately, I want you to be right. I want you to win this argument.
I am right.
I pray to God that you're winning this
I am right.
I just don't think you are.
I am right.
I'm not thinking as myself. If I was being
At this
I was
time-
being selfish, I would say, yo, fuck yeah, they should do it. I would just start writing Bob Arum, start texting him
Listen,
right now.
at
Yo,
this
just have
time-
a fucking island fight. Have a kumite.
At this
But-
time, no one should be canceling TBV. I'm not saying that from a conceited standpoint. I'm saying Dazn can't give you what we're giving you, especially not on a daily basis. Minimum
But
30
see, that's
episodes.
the point that I'm trying to make is that you look, you have a good heart. I know that.
No, you gotta
work
know how to-
off
you
but
gotta
you're
know how to
blessed,
move
though.
your finances.
Your girl is in a field that is not going to get shut down.
Exactly.
And you are in a field that is only as lucrative as you make it.
Mm-hmm.
As we make it. So you're blessed. I'm blessed. We are two people that probably don't represent America very well right now. And you know,
But
I just think-
but you're still first of all, you're devaluing yourself. 97% of Americans are home. You are valuable.
stay at home.
You
On a
are
stay at
valuable.
home.
You're entertainment. We've held people for 3 straight hours today. You're entertainment, okay? That's just the bottom line. If they got Dr. Phil in his kitchen still doing shit from his phone on FaceTime and transmitting it to Channel 5, it's because dollars make sense, bro. Dollars make sense. You living in this world where they're gonna stop. There ain't nobody stopping. Ain't nobody stopping.
I hope you're right, bro. I hope you're right. I pray you're right. I pray you're
Listen.
right because I want to see the Edward Belangas of the world. I want to see the Blair Flairs of the world. You know what I mean? Cobbs. I want to see these guys again. You know what I mean? And honestly, if I'm speaking real, part of the reason why I don't want these big fights to happen is because them dudes are chilling. Them dudes are good.
Yo, I
I'm worried
wasn't
about the fighters
lying.
that make money off of every fight, and that's how they live and survive for their family.
Yo, I wasn't lying. The stock did literally go up in the middle of the argument. You could,
I'm sure it did.
On Cash App,
Yeah.
you can check it. Like Bitcoin fluctuates by the second too. It sucks. I wish they had more.
It's 11 Central, so it's 12 Eastern. So this is right before lunch
me
over
see.
there, and that's a lot of people get enclosures right before lunch breaks and stuff. So you'll see the stock fluctuate at this time all the time.
It's so corny because you can't even search like why can't I find YouTube as a stock, right? They don't have.
Yeah, my pork belly's not looking as good as I thought it would, but But it's actually not
Bro,
mine,
because
though,
you investing in the wrong shit. I promise you, man.
I was already invested though. So
I promise you, I was thinking of it, but I don't have money to invest. And then it's like, yo,
you got me.
How much? No, not ever. Not even. It's just like, how much are you making, right? Like if you buy a fucking $200 stock, like what are you really making? You got to have money to really invest.
Yeah, bro. But
I knew McDonald's and Coke was gonna go up, and to look at McDonald's and almost see it at 4 fucking points is insane.
Look. I'm gonna say this, and that's it. I'm gonna give me like 20 seconds. If anyone thinks that we're not going to bounce back from this, you're fucking crazy. Okay, America. As long as this thing isn't the end of all times, which I'm not saying it's not, but as long as this thing isn't the end of all times, which I don't think it is, we're going to bounce back. Okay, so all these stocks that are low right now, you can ride it, but you can start buying, and that thing, it's going to go back up. I promise. Our economy is going to survive. We are going to survive. Boxing is going to survive. And for the people that can take advantage of it, they should. I'm not one of them. I'm comfortable, but I'm not making money like that where I could go and start investing in Facebook. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I still pray that this thing is over quicker. And that's the other part of this argument, Ness. I think I'm a little bit of an optimist. I still don't think that we're done. I still think that there could be summer come and it's like, boom, we're good. The line is flattened out and people are good. And we start, getting more and more fights. And so, that's my ultimate hope, because as great as it would be to see boxing right now, it would be better for me if by August we could have live fights. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be better. I would choose to have live fights in August and not have now, as opposed to having them now and not having live fights for a year. You get what I'm saying?
I'm just saying this. This is my little Patreon commercial. Look, everybody is in their own situation, and I'm not no one's financial advisor, but I could think of a million things to cancel before canceling TBV, which is your source of entertainment. Like, I personally haven't canceled. I told you what I've already done, what resources I took advantage of. I didn't cancel my cable. I didn't cancel my cable. I'm on a $100 Dazn, so I can't cancel my Dazn. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I still use YouTube. I'm not canceling my ad blocker. Like, you know what I mean? YouTube ads. Like, I'm on red. I got the premium. I want to download when I go on a run. You know what I mean? So it's certain things that you could cancel. You could find $5, $10, $15, just like you could find $50, $60, $100 for a pay-per-view one time out of 90 days that you were going to be on quarantine, bruh. I just don't.
Oh, man. You just came up with the best well, not the best like full topic, but a good question for Untitled. If you had to cancel one between Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and I don't know.
Bro, no one's canceling Amazon Prime.
I'm just saying, if you had to cancel one of them.
In general, because it ain't right now the time that we need Amazon the most.
But you understand? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, let me rephrase that question. If you could cancel the streaming services
I got it
Amazon
completely.
Prime, you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying Amazon. Yeah, Amazon Prime, I couldn't live without it.
I'm just speaking in general. Like, yo, why would anyone cancel their Prime unless they don't use Amazon as much as me? I promise you, my entire front porch is covered in boxes.
Okay, so you know what the best thing to say is? What's the two best? I'll put it that way, between Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. I think that's a good question.
Thank you, King Nello. Never cancel Prime. Who the fuck wants to wait 7 days for a package? Like, that's bugging.
Yeah, I feel you, but that's not the question I was asking. I was asking
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
In general.
And it's Netflix. You cancel Prime. Prime doesn't have enough shit. You cancel that. But if you only cancel Prime if you're thinking of it and comparing it as just a streaming service. Prime is more than a streaming service. Prime is a streaming service, which is extra. Prime is fast delivery.
So then would you cancel YouTube over Netflix or Netflix over YouTube?
I would definitely. I haven't canceled YouTube out of sheer laziness, to be honest with you. I could deal with an ad. Like, I remember doing that when I was flying a lot, so I needed to download. and certain fights and stuff like that. I remember we traveled a lot. It was me, Enrique, and Doom. We traveled together, and we all downloaded shit. And I ain't stopped paying for it. I need to cancel that bull crap. But it is useful though. Like
it is, yeah, for sure.
Honestly, I'm gonna do the things to numbers, man. Is probably in another life or in Westworld version of me, I'm an accountant, and those seconds on those ads, bro, that's a show. Imagine I watched 20 videos. How many seconds did I lose? That's a show I could have done instead of watching the ad. You feel what I'm saying? So pay to skip the ad. Like I tell my girl all the time, she's like, yo, why you don't go do that? I'm like, because I could be doing a show.
You ever heard of the book called Outliers?
Negative.
By Malcolm Gladwell? No? Bro, you should read that. It's all about like success. Malcolm Gladwell, the author, he writes about like how people put themselves in successful situations. I read it once in college. No, I was out of college. It was like 2010, 2011.
Majimba says, great book, Mario.
It is a great book. And honestly, there are a lot of aspects of that remind me of you. Just the way you think and perceive numbers and you can break things down to code. You know, to you, I'm not saying you're heartless, like everything 001100, coding like that. I'm just saying that you're able to put yourself in that situation. But you should read that book. You would, I think, recognize some of the things in yourself.
Nah, I guess I'm gonna have to.
You know what people should do too? Real talk. There's an app called Hoopla, HOOPLA, and there's another app called Axis 360, Axis AXIS. These run off of your public library. Okay, these are free apps that you can get movies, audiobooks, books, everything on your phone like that. The bigger your wherever you live, if the bigger that you live, like wherever the location you live, the bigger the town is, the more access to stuff that you have. But it's completely free.
I'm pretty bad at math. But 5 cents times 30 is 15, right?
5 cents times 30 is $1.50. $1.50.
$1.50. Oh, $1.50. $1.50. Okay. I'm bad at math. I should have used the calculator instead of being on there, moron. Right, guys? Yo, so we got to everybody.
Numbers. I just gave you that numbers compliment.
I know. And then I go and show how great I am at numbers by doing poor math. Nah, man, listen, lot of talking. But look, we're done for the day, but we'll be back in the evening, 7 p.m. We got 2 jam-packed interviews, Gabe Rosado and Brandon Lee, and you never know who we might sneak in.
Did Coach Wade cancel?
Is it? Why haven't I seen that on the? Oh my God, he's probably like, yo, why they ain't post me? Let me see. Is that today?
Yeah, he's the first one. Coach Larry Wade.
You're absolutely right. You're
Eastern.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I got to make that post before he gets offended. Okay. But yeah, man, we'll be back at 7 p.m. Eastern. Catch us there. Peace.
At Maury McGee on Instagram. At Maury McGee on Twitter. Peace.